The gods' headache have arrived in the city of Ulmendau, tracking down the remnants of the Wardens of the World Fire. Thankfully, you had an ally within the city. The Fallow Manor had Norium Fallow, Nemesis' brother, who is not a slave to Nemesis' mother, the same as Nemesis herself, and as such, was a reliable ally to begin with. You began an initial search through the city, questioning about disappearances and burnings, while some of you stayed within the library with Norium to study up on anything involving this. Through your studies, you were able to discover that there had been an increase in kidnappings, but they had surprisingly died down several years ago. With your search in the residential area now sorted, you return back to the manor to dress more formally, to head further into the noble district and speak with Father Altrust, the head priest of the Church of Tyr. As we come back, you've all returned back in. Your arrival has been declared to Norium, as Delson, I believe, were there with him, studying. So.
I was.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, we just got back.
Yeah, so you've just come back from the residential area. Vincent heads off to, he says, like, I need to get into my guard attire and get back to stuff, so, this is where we part ways.
Thank you for your assistance.
No problem. Just, be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so are Norium and Delson out right now, or would they still be, like, in
They're still in the library.
They're still in the library?
Yeah, like you poke your head in and you can just see them both reading as you, so, like, you see Norium, just, like, look up from the book. Oh, sister, you're back.
With...
Hey there.
I'm not sure if you could call it information. There's something.
Well, why don't we prepare a meal and we'll discuss what we've got so far and then see where to go from there.
Alright, I need to change anyways.
Yeah, by the way, you've got a bit of dirt on your face.
Yes, thank you! Thank you!
You know, I'm surprised she's not freaking out and using her ring.
She has a ring?
Yes, it's literally one just for her to clean herself.
Huh. Honestly, I'm surprised that, did you get it recently?
No, she's had it for a while, actually.
Like half a year, I think, at this point. Year?
It's not been half a year in the campaign. It's been like 3
No?
months.
Yeah, it's
3
been
months.
like 3 months in the campaign.
You are
Sometimes
literally
time
coming
is-
up to, like, March in the,
Mm-hmm.
in the world.
Time is when it moves too slowly compared to real life. Oh.
I think it's been well over a year since, like, in real time. But anyway.
Yeah.
So, you spend time just sort of changing to better clothing. A quick meal is made for you, nothing particularly fancy. And you all gather once more in the main dining room. Noreen speaks up. So, well, me and Delson, we did some studying in regards to anything involving these wardens. I found a few records of them definitely having a strong presence here up until around the time of our grandfather. Then they sort of began to taper out and then quite suddenly dropped out of existence, really, which I think coincides with when they were found doing their deeds in Platinum Hold.
Yes,
Yeah, sounds about right.
there was
Sounds-
one more. Sorry. There was
Go ahead.
also one more interesting but slightly strange occurrence we found while looking through things. Apparently, the kidnappings in the city, they kept going strong even after the wardens had their temples destroyed and them essentially like gone. And it went on until like only about 15 years ago, which is when it finally started dying down.
Interesting.
Yes.
To be fair, that's not really saying much. Like, people get kidnapped for all sorts of reasons. It's not for, it's not most of them untoward, but not. But doesn't mean that everyone is kidnapped is being burned alive by some murderous dwarven blokes. It doesn't. It just means they're either sold to be ransomed or kidnapped for any other reason. Just doesn't mean it's my lot who's doing it.
Well, the odd thing is that 15 years ago it was a sudden, rather substantial drop. It wasn't a case of it gradually died down. It was almost as if jumping off a cliff, almost. And I've looked through all of the records. There was no campaigns or investigations or... There was no change in how the Lord's God did things. This is just a drop that happened by itself.
Do you think there's a possibility that whoever was responsible for this perhaps died themselves?
Given the numbers, it wouldn't have been one person. That's the thing.
And there appears to still be kidnappings going on, though that could just be for other reasons.
Yes, basically from what we've seen, there was a high amount of them. Unfortunately, our records don't go back as far as I'd like, but around midway through the Wardens of the World of Fire actually having a presence here, they did have an increase in kidnappings. And when they did drop a little bit, when the temples were destroyed and the Wardens were ousted, it still stayed at a high level until recently.
Is there a chance that certain people had things in common?
As in those that were kidnapped.
Yes, maybe they were dwarves themselves or of a certain religion.
Unfortunately,
involved in some people who want them disappearing, or
I would have to go to the Lord's God themselves, and I would assume we wouldn't want to get more attention than we have currently.
Especially if the wardens that we suspect are here are somehow involved with powers that are in control.
Yes, from what I can gather, at the very least, there doesn't appear to be a pattern. All the thing that they have consistent is that pretty much all of them were in the residential area or spent some time here while traveling.
In the inner circle?
No. Not within the
Or
Gilded Circle.
No.
No, these were people that were just traveling, not... They weren't well off, to say. They wouldn't have had the coin to spend the night in the Gilded Circle.
All right.
Well, unfortunately, we may have to draw a bit more attention. I was going to go see the father.
Father Althurst.
Mm-hmm.
I would be careful if that's the case.
Trust me,
Does
I'm familiar.
Does
Altus
anyone have a
is... You first, Dom.
Does anyone have a disguise kit, perchance?
I doubt that they would speak to anyone that wasn't... Oh my god, you guys. That wasn't Norium or I. Even then, Norium is questionable.
Well, this
What's
gets
that
better
to
and better.
mean?
Well, you... I'll be honest, you sometimes come off as creepy to other people.
I mean, I don't see why that changes anything.
People are less likely to talk to you. Though, I think that's how you prefer it.
Yes, but it's also Father Altrust.
True. Yes.
To be fair, you're the one to talk, Baroness No Peoples.
What's the deal with Father
Norium
Albert?
and I dislike people for different reasons.
Okay. What is the problem with Father Albatross? Like,
It's not
what-
so much of a problem. But he is very loyal to Tyr, and as such, he is also loyal to the Paladins. And I'm sure you're aware of the situation involving Nemesis and the Paladins.
Yeah, we are.
How furious do you think he'd be if I came here with the symbol of a, not so approved deity?
I don't think he'd be very happy, but I don't think he'd be enraged. At the same time, there is also the chance that the cover-up story that Mother has made is still the norm, which is that you are going around spreading the word of Tyr.
I mean, we could hope, though. I'd rather not encourage that story.
Either way, Father Ultras will be a gamble. Is there any other information outside of Father Ultras? Maybe we can look into something else in regards to that, if we would rather not take that risk?
Well, we already tried to talk to the Lord's Guard. We talked to a few people in the city that might know. I know that we took a special interest in the mines, that it may be that something's going on there, but that's just a theory.
A mine. I think I might have heard of that mine. Was it one that had ran out of ore in the past?
Supposedly, but some of the previous miners there, they said something about hitting something big, that there was a chance that they were about to find something else.
Yes, I remember reading about it. They believe that there might have been some deeper minerals in, based on some traces. I'm not too sure. I'm not very well informed on mining or finding ore and such. But this was back in grandfather's time, I believe. And then I believe it was Mother that shut it down. Interesting. That mine has been left to the elements ever since it was closed down. But even before that.
We heard that it might be dangerous to go in there, considering the state that it's been left in.
Well, with several years and nobody in there to ensure that the supports are maintained or that any burrowing creatures don't go in, I would not be surprised if several of the tunnels have collapsed already.
I think I would still like to look into it, though. There's a chance that there's something there. Perhaps people are hiding there. It wouldn't be the first time.
It wouldn't.
How far away from the city is this mine?
It's not incredibly far away. It's about half a day's travel. If you go through the official roads and everything. If you cut straight across, which that bit is actually emptied quite a bit, for reasons which I won't mention. But it should allow you to get there in about 3 or 4 hours.
Alright, so it is quite close.
So it's far enough away that it would not interfere if the city grew, but close enough that we would be able to benefit from it.
There's something else, though I'm hesitant to suggest it.
Yes?
We were also mentioning the possibility of information being in the castle.
That is one which I highly recommend against.
I realize this, which is why I'm not very keen on it.
At the
While there are
most,
trusted people here, there's definitely not much there.
At the most, if we were to go that way, I would say it would be myself that would need to go. The second they spot you, they would notify Mother immediately.
I'd be surprised if she hasn't been notified already.
Well, if she has, then hopefully we're in a bit of luck, given the situation in Jurhan and Mother's own preferences.
Right. Hopefully she thinks that you're just keeping me here.
That, or maybe she is on her way, but she detests airships, and I highly doubt they'll let her use the teleportation circle. Queen
Let's-
Morden isn't exactly a fan of Mother.
No one is a fan of a mother.
True, true. But if we were to go that, let's say that we have a time limit starting from when you first arrived. To get from Jurhan to here, with the addition of the security and making sure that there's no ambushes and such, I'd say we have just over a week. But that's if Mother is on her way back.
I don't suppose there's any way that you could gauge that.
No, I'm afraid I couldn't. I'm merely basing it on previous journeys to Olmendau and Jurhan.
Alright. We'll go with a week then. And hope that nothing comes of it.
And if something does go bad, well, I take out the chalk. We have an out, at least.
If
Or
shit
at
goes
least-
south, we can just we can play hopscotch and forget all about it.
Good thing I've been logging down all these teleportation circles.
Yeah, which ones are the ones that we have?
I know we have one next.
Exeter, Delcross.
There's one.
Is there one in Almendau, or is it because it's so small that there probably isn't? Or we would have to go to the Paladins.
Yeah,
The teleportation circle for Olmendau is in the castle.
Wow, no! We're not doing that.
No.
if we happen to see it, then Delson, be fast at fast rating.
bold of you to assume. I have not been trained in making things fast.
That's only if anyone goes to the castle, and if it is, it would be Norium and probably only a few of you.
I don't think they would look kindly to me bringing a bunch of ragtag adventurers.
I mean, we don't have to look like a ragtag of adventurers.
I'm just simply saying that they'd be asking a lot of questions of why I suddenly have a bunch of strangers, given my apparent creepy nature.
Nemesis just kind of looks away with a smirk on her face.
Just say we're like fellow plane hunters, or they did not know that yet.
They do not know I'm a plane hunter.
Okay, fair enough.
Oof.
Well, if it comes to something, you seem to share a certain fondness for learning.
I can certainly try, but I wouldn't make no promises. Keep in mind that everything we're doing here is going to be a risk.
I know, this is purely a hypothetical.
Yeah.
Alright. So we're going to look at the mines and we're going to speak to the father. What time is it at this point?
It is early afternoon, roughly.
Early afternoon, okay. And it's half a day's travel to get to the mine?
If you take like a long winding road, there is obviously the other way out of the manor, which puts you in the direction.
Alright, yeah, alright.
I assume the ranger won't get us lost there on the way there.
Then... Alright. Let's meet the father today, hopefully, and tomorrow we can set out for the mine. Do you all agree with that?
Yes, that sounds good.
Norium,
I think that's a good idea.
Yes?
will you be going with us to the mine, or will you be staying here?
I will stay here. If things start to... If they get the idea that I'm working alongside you, then Mother is going to want my head.
I don't think that Mother would ever... I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't test it.
You really shouldn't.
Alright. Then, I suppose you'll stay here and you try to gather information or lower whatever flames might erupt.
I will, I'll have a chat with Vincent, see if he might know anybody who, as you know, he knows quite a few of the lower class people. Maybe he knows a few of the hunters, or he has connections. I'll see what I can get from him, and I'll look more into this mine.
Nemesis kind of gives a nod and stands up. Kind of looks to everyone else. I think only a few of you should come with me.
Yeah, I have my own investigations to be doing somewhere else. Anyways.
Well, that's vague.
I mean, it's my murderous psychopaths we're trying to find. It makes sense I come with you.
I volunteer for any madness that goes down.
See, that's what I'm worried about. You might cause madness, but...
Someone's got to be around Fortune to make sure she doesn't.
Yeah, are you gonna just leave me around here? Look at all these vases that could break.
Please
Kinda
don't.
looks at Fortune,
Please
and
don't.
then she looks at Norium.
Hmm.
Oh god, you two would get into all kinds of trouble. Alright. I will take you, Fortune. I'll take Trothnar and Raya. You will attend.
The wild card.
Well, maybe they'll find it random. I mean,
Are you sure that's a great idea?
I don't know. This seems.
Wait, you're bringing it.
Listen,
That just seems
Raya,
yeah,
for the
right.
most part, is quiet, and she
Mhm.
doesn't cause trouble unless there is trouble. She will provide some protection.
And if things
Okay.
go south, you'll at the very least have a good getaway.
That's a Raya let anyone ride her.
Oh,
So far, I
his...
think only one person has.
Yay!
And when that happened, if my memory serves correctly, they both died.
Hey, cat! Stop chewing on my cable.
You have a cat?
Oh, the cats.
Norium, you have a cat?
I just imagine Essie, like, in the background biting something.
Well, it looks like you've got your plan.
Is there anything the
Alright.
rest of us should be doing while you head in there? Or just stay out
Well-
of trouble?
If you could find more information, that'd be great, but I think we've hit a bit of a dead end here. Just
Yes, I
stay out of trouble, make sure that Norium doesn't get himself killed.
How am I meant to...
Very well.
Unless a bookshelf falls on me...
I would not be surprised.
Be
then-
careful around the library.
I mean, you become a plane center. I'm sure you could survive as long as not 1,000 books fall on you.
Yes,
Also,
but
I'm
they
pretty sure
they have
you are-
sharp corners and they hurt.
I'm
Also-
pretty sure.
Wow.
Also,
What
I'm
a
pretty
nerd.
sure you have also heard of rodents of unusual sizes, and their ability to get into anywhere.
Delson, you will
Yeah.
stop at once.
Yeah, true. You ever kill any of those, Norium?
Oh, rodents? Yes, yes I have. Terrible business, really. Disgusting. They explode all over the place.
Wait, how are you killing them then?
Size, I'm taming it.
I know a few spells, shall we say.
Do any of them include blasting things eldritchly?
Norium is a
No.
wizard. He uses magic.
I
What else do
think-
you think he does in all his time just reading?
Reading.
Crush puss.
I think freezing them is more elegant. It makes the mess not so bad.
Chosnar, did I hear you correctly say that you think he crushed puss?
What the
I didn't
No,
say
that was
that.
dumb Ed.
Sorry.
I'm just going to casually smoke.
So,
Yeah, I guess
someone found
we'll-
it funny.
I guess we'll
Thank you, Sav.
stay here
Oh
while
my god, you guys.
Nemesis and
All right.
Fortune and
Oh.
Riot.
Maybe
deal
I'll
with that.
have some tea then.
Yes, if anyone does wish to help with any research, or if you want to do any research of your own, we don't need to limit it just to these wardens, then you're certainly free to join me in the library.
Maybe I should
I
head
would-
back to this.
Like I said, be very careful where you step in the lab.
Maybe I should just head back to the lower quarter.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to the lower quarter. So I'm going to change it to my things because I don't think there's any recording of people that have gone in and out.
In and out of where, sorry?
In and out of the city, potentially. Especially not travelers not from around.
We tend not to keep a record of people that come to and from unless they are important people, or at least important by Mother's standards.
Mm-hmm. My point exactly. So, yeah, I'll probably see someone in the lower quarters.
We'll see. I guess the two of us will down then.
If that's the case, then I'd best get Vincent again. He has some authority. so he might be able to get through. If not, then he has something which will definitely allow him through.
Do we need him just to go out?
Getting through the Gilded Circle is quite difficult. If you don't dress the part, they won't even let you in.
I'm dying.
Because of the,
Norium, killer of cat. Oh my god.
What?
Oh my god, you guys.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
So sorry.
moving on after that slight derailment. So, I know who's going to, whatchamacallit, I know who's going to Ultras, who is doing any research, and who is going elsewhere.
Who's gonna harass Norium about his sexual habit?
I'm going to.
Oh my god.
Hey,
I'm going
Delson.
out.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna head out with Delson. So Delson,
No,
Alicia.
it's fine. You don't need to go with me.
Okay, I am still going to the lower courtroom, but I'm not going with you.
Alright, and everyone else?
So that's so it would be do. Oh
Yeah, so it's basically Creation, Valith, and Trafnar.
No, Trothar's
Oh,
going with
Tra-
me.
Oh,
Trothnar's
Trafnar's going
coming,
with-
but it's Trotnar,
So it's just you and
Nemesis,
Gratian
Fortune,
then.
and Raya, and then
Yeah, it's Voleth and Gratian that are left.
with Norium.
Yep.
Gratian, would you like to pretend to research with Norium and try our best?
I can hear you, you know.
Yes. And
Can you be nice to? Can you be nice to the dirt child? He doesn't know what he's doing.
He can't read.
it's okay, Gratian. We can work together. I'm sure between the two of us, we can read something.
We have books which are not incredibly You're
okay.
screwing with me,
We'll do
aren't
our
you?
best.
Norium, let me
Don't
know
worry,
right now.
I
I'm
do
sorry about
know how
being
to read.
with This.
Never mind.
'Tis only a jest. But yes, we should try to find some more information, even if we can't find anything. It's a good way to stay out of trouble. Make sure you don't get yourself into anything, Delson.
And as I say,
I'm
if
pretty
there's
good
anything
Not
that
getting
you
myself into the things.
and as I say, if there's anything else that you wish to research on your own that's not involving this, you're free to.
Yes, I may do that.
Very well. Let's I guess let's go through on this then. So we will start. We'll start with the researching boys then.
Cool.
So, what particular things are you researching into?
Well, I think that Volith thinks that Norium and Delson would have done a better job, and probably did as good a job as they could, and wouldn't find the need to overlap trying to do that sort of thing. And so I think he's just going to peruse the books for interesting things related to the dark and my patron. And Time of the Dark and my patron.
Okay.
And that sort of stuff.
Make an investigation check.
My absolute best.
I think Gratian was asking.
Gratian will request a coloring book.
No,
Make an investigation check,
the picture
Gratian.
book.
Looking for a colored picture looking thing.
Norium is just with two kindergartners that don't know how to read.
We're all pretty dumb.
Yep.
We're both pretty dumb.
Actually, probably could find some art books even in these age.
If Too bad the world's greatest detective had to go on.
Yeah,
out.
this is a significant downgrade in research matters.
You had Shenlock, and now you'll have Dirt Child.
Yep. But Dirt Child is seeing if you can find a colouring book.
No, wait, he's still typing something.
Yeah.
Can you find it?
That's why I told him to do an investigation check.
What does that mean?
Oh, that's what he's looking for.
What am
Okay.
I? This
So-
whole time creation is just
So
been
about
no idea
Goliaths,
what
Goliaths
Goliath is.
and changelings. Make an investigation check then.
Nice.
Okay, investigation check then.
Okay.
On
Interesting.
that 20. I'd roll
Come
that
on,
20
do it.
Oops.
Do it.
Accidental double roll.
We're both
Okay.
so bad at this. Plus
You-
0 is
You
funny.
you do find a with a 7 because it's more common knowledge, but you do find a book about changelings, specifically at least the origins of changelings. The origin of changelings is actually similar to the origins of tieflings, which people know is that tieflings are basically humans that have elements of the Nine Hells, which has shaped them. Changelings, it's a similar situation, but with the void. But with that low of a roll, you don't really find much else. Alright. So, and with a 3 val, if you don't have any
Right.
luck.
You know nothing.
What
Alex.
M book?
What book? What little read? Well, the first changelings came from the void, but obviously changelings can be born naturally. But it's again, it's like how tieflings work.
It's like how tieflings work, because sometimes they're just like random. You don't have to have like your mother sleep with a demon. It's just like sometimes changelings happen.
Yeah, it's just like maybe down the line, like maybe your great grandmother was a changeling, and then like millions of hundreds of generations later, finally it's like, oh hey, suddenly a changeling.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,
Alrighty.
so if that's the
Maybe you
case,
were possessed by a demon in the womb, and now all you are is demon.
all right. So
Maybe
That's a
your
thing.
mother just really, really liked goats.
Oh my god.
So, the lower quarter duo that are doing their own separate things, what are you guys doing?
You said you were gonna have Vincent do something for us?
Vincent just kind of like, he's just like partially got his armor on and such. He's just like, look, don't tell Norium this, but I kind of gotta keep doing this. And he just hands you a small ring. Show that to the guards. They'll let you back in. Give it back to me when you're done.
What is this, like a signet
Got
ring or
it.
something?
Yeah, and you look on it. It has the emblem of the Fallow family.
That's exactly what it is.
Does it look like Norium and Nemesis rings?
Yes, but not as fancy.
Okay.
Like, it's like ones that are given to like trusted individuals as opposed to family members.
I guess you can keep it though, so I can get back in if I hold on.
Right. I will keep the ring and make sure that unless I'm using it, it will be hidden. Because
Yeah, don't show that to anyone down there. They'll be pissed.
yeah.
Yeah, I would rather you not get stoned to death.
You people have been trying to kill me for a long time. Yeah, I'm still alive.
Alright, so the two of you head back into the low district. What are you both doing?
Well, I'm going on my investigations for information on you know what.
Okay, make an investigation check.
Come on, it's time. World's greatest detective. Do your thing. Oof. not great.
12. You ask around, and a few of like the Lord's Guard that you speak to, ones that look like they've been there for a while, they do say that the description rings a bell, but they don't know if it might have been someone that looks similar or was that person. Because well, the thing is that outside of few bits of which I don't fucking remember, we have seen people that look a bit like that, but it's like you're talking multiple people.
Oof. And they didn't have like a very ornate and fancy looking bow.
If they did, I don't remember, mate.
Well, thank you for that much at least.
Yeah,
Something.
yeah. I'm not too sure where they went either. A few of them went further north, others went further south.
That's definitely some good information to know.
Alright. And Alicia, what are you doing?
I myself was gonna do again more of a investigation regarding the wardens, the previous kidnappings, and
Alright.
maybe just dwarves in general, at least in the town.
Make another investigation check.
Where I feel badly too. Isn't it?
18.
Oh, actually no. But
So, specifically, it's about the wardens and the dwarves in general. Okay, so you ask about a bit, and the response about the wardens, like, a lot of it seems positive, but they all mention that it's a shame that they fell from grace. That they used to be, about righting the wrongs in the world and such, for dwarven kind. In regards to dwarves in general, you find out that the population did drop down significantly when the wardens were ousted, as a lot of them were members of the Warden of the Worldfire, and a lot of them did leave. And it's been on a bit of a steady decline, but that's mostly because a lot of the things which dwarves are incredibly skilled at is either not available or they are being essentially shoved out of it, discriminated against just because they're dwarves.
alright. Do you know of any former priests of Morian, just in general?
Oh no, they all went. Well, there were a few people that worked there. My boy was one of them before he died from illness, but
Sorry to hear.
it's fine, I guess all of us. Nah, most of them left. They either went to Mithrilhammer, to Underrook, or I think Groffield, they had a presence there once.
Maybe once.
But we don't hear much about the dwarven cities here, so couldn't tell you.
I don't know. Do you know? Do you? How to phrase?
If you're not sure how to phrase it, just phrase it how your brain's saying, and I'll see.
I know. But of course, I could definitely be done phrasing it. So, do you know what happened in regards to the kidnapping suddenly ending, or you just suddenly ended?
Well, kidnappings never ended. They just suddenly stopped happening. It used to be about, one or two people a week. Now it's usually like once every other week.
Whatever happened to them? Oh, what happened to the? Do they just like never reappear, or do they sometimes they find or reappeared?
I know a guy who, his brother was kidnapped. They found him drowned in the fields.
Around.
Yeah, like he was buried in like sludge and slurry.
Hmm. Well, I think I'm sorry for maybe bringing up some bad memories. I think that's.
No, but bad memories, child. It's fine.
I guess maybe it's just dwarves just have a better respect for it, even if it's bad in history.
It's more we've lived like this for about 20, 30 years.
I do very much hope things improve here.
Maybe if that bitch weren't around.
I suppose. Never met her. Just hear bad things as I walk around town.
All right. So, if that's the case, then we shall go to the party that is going to the temple. So, Nemesis, you know exactly where which church Father Altrus would reside in. It's the biggest one, and while it's not obviously at the castle, it is quite close to the castle.
Mm-hmm.
Not close enough that it's putting you like the Regan wouldn't be able to look out the window and see you walking towards it kind of way.
Yeah.
But it's like it's the closest one to it.
Okay.
So you make your way to this large, beautiful marble church. It is the biggest church here by about 3 or 4 sizes more. The doors are open, and there is a steady stream of people coming in and out of the temple. Or monastery, or whatever you want to call it.
Alright.
Just put this music.
Then I guess I'm going to go in. Is there anyone that looks familiar to me, like just out like in the public area?
Make a perception check.
Okay. With my ragtag gang that totally won't get me in trouble.
Oops.
Oh, whoops. That's on Nem's thing, but
Okay.
Norium's name.
You look around. It doesn't look like it. There are a lot of people here, but from what you can gather, you can't see anyone that looks familiar.
Okay. Alright, just keep by me and just keep quiet unless your presence is required. She kind of looks to Fortune specifically.
Alright. So you
Alright.
make your way through the temple. People do move apart because there's obviously a very tall lady and a centaur walking by. That turns quite a few heads. But as you keep walking, you're still just like keeping an eye out, making sure that nobody there recognizes you. And eventually you get towards this platform, and above that is a what was
Who's
that?
eating their mic?
Peach is killing us.
Sorry, that was my fault. I moved.
That hurt my ears.
She flipped
Sorry.
the mic.
It's fine. It's fine. And up on the platform, you can see a very old man, probably in his mid-70s. He's wearing some beautiful light blue robes with like golden thread engraved on the the stitching and everything. On around his neck, you can see a large symbol, Satyr. He is completely bald, and you can see like liver spots and such dotted on the top of his head. You recognize this man as Father Altrust, as he is speaking with another priest.
I tuck my symbol of Orion under my clothes. Alright, and I... Oh my god, I'm gonna kill my family. And I will kind of cautiously walk up to him.
Alright. You step up onto the platform, and one of the priests he's talking to just kind of like notices out of the corner of her eyes, looks, and you see Father Altrust and says, "You need... Lady Follow?"
Hello, Father.
Gods, what are you doing here? I was told you were further south.
I recently came back up north for a special mission.
I see. Well, you bless us with your presence, Miss Follow. To what which I owe this honor.
Well, and I kind of look over to the priest. Would it be better if we spoke in private? I don't want to cause a stir.
Yes, of course. This way, please. He just kind of like turns, and he's a very slow walker. He's an old man.
Alright.
So he just kind of like slowly walks over. The priest just like watches him go, and he just bows to you and walks off.
Alright. I'll go ahead and follow him. Where specifically is he taking us?
To one of the back rooms.
Okay.
So you can see with where the altar is, there's a large archway at the back, which is like the ritual chambers, because you had been in there a few times as a child. But the rooms to either side are a bit more quieter. Alright, so he lets you in. He starts to close the door as the rest of your party follow in. Excuse me.
They're helpers of mine. They're assisting on my journey.
Right, very well. He waits for the rest of you to come in before he very slowly like closes the door. Very well. How can I help you then?
I'll go ahead and I'm assuming there's a place to sit, so I'll go sit with him. I don't want this guy to stand for longer than he has to.
Yeah, he as he can like he starts to head towards a pair of chairs. There's several more that are just like stacked on the side, but he's got like two. It looks like you can see there's like some like tea and such that has like some empty teacups. It's obvious that this room's been used recently.
Well, you see, sir, I'm currently looking into a cult of sorts, former paladins, not of Tyr, but of Mordor. Oh god, my fucking memory. Morian. Oh my god. Thank you, baby.
Who's Bibby?
Shut up. Shut up.
You've told me for fucking months. What?
At least we're not asking about what year did this brick get placed into this stone.
Right. Yes, we're looking for something to do with well, I would say the Paladins of Morian, but it's really more of a cult.
Paladins of Morian.
Wardens of the Wardens of the Wildfire, ring any bells, old man?
What?
They do, yes, I remember. They used to have a great many temples here, meant to symbolize the relationship between this city and Miflhammer, and Underrook to a lesser extent. You say they've become a cult?
They've taken their lord's words into their own hands and started massacring people. It's been going around for a while, but we heard that there is perhaps remnants in the city here.
Gonna do a roll to see. The only thing I know was the temples were destroyed, and anyone who knew about the building of the temples also pointed them to the secret tunnels. They were looked at, rooted out, and collapsed.
So, you think there's probably... that they've already been dealt with here?
The tunnels took a while to find, Lady Fallow, so if any of these cultists made their escape, they probably did so through the tunnels.
I see.
They lead to the outside of Ulmdau.
Do you perhaps have... I know this is a stretch, but maybe a map of the mine? Maybe something that someone surveyed?
A mine? What's this about a mine?
Well, we think that there's a chance that they may be either hiding out there or maybe the tunnels went through there. It's the old mine right outside Almondau that Mother closed up.
Understand, Lady Fallow, that I am an Archbishop of Tyr. I am not a cartographer or a miner, but I could. There is a spell I know that allows me to commune with Tyr himself. It only gives me 3 questions, but I could use it.
I wouldn't want to waste your time like that. I only came to see if you might have any answers. Is there perhaps a chance that you would have access to records of that time instead?
As in the comings and goings of the people involved, you mean?
Yes.
He kind of like begins to look about, and he slowly pulls himself up and begins looking through a bookshelf, and he pulls out a ledger. It looks rather tattered, but he just kind of like looks at it and with shakily hands it to you. This is a list of all the people we know from that time. It was your mother's idea to keep a record of those involved in the Wardens of the World Fire before their temples were destroyed.
This is actually quite helpful. We can see if any of these people are still here in Almondau. Would you mind if I took this with me?
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. Yes, oh my god.
Good boy.
I suppose borrowing it shouldn't be an issue.
I'm sure that I can get it returned once I'm done with this. I only need to look through the names and find the people.
Very well, very well.
All right. This is actually... It's helpful. It's actually a lead after so many dead ends. Thank you very much.
I suppose you haven't, you may not have heard, but are you aware of, Grand Paladin Quan's removal from the Paladins?
I have heard, yes. Have you heard anything of his well-being or whereabouts?
He vanished without a trace. I was just meaning to say this because, should you wish to inform the Paladins of your mission, you will not find Quan there anymore. It is Grand Paladin Veston now.
Do I know this person?
Make it either a history or intelligence check.
It's fucking history. I'm proficient in it. It's
12.
not gonna help much, but
Vaguely. The thing
Vaguely.
that sticks out is that he, at least in your time in the Paladins, he was a bit of a bootlicker.
Okay. Well, if I do ask the Paladins for assistance, I will have to keep that in mind.
Is your mission not for the Paladins, though?
It's... In a way, it is, but this is more of my personal quest.
Right.
I just don't think it's right to abuse a god's word for such massacres, don't you think?
On the contrary, if a massacre is happening, the gods would want us to stop it.
Exactly. Nem kind of just like has like this plastic smile on her face, kind of stands up.
Of course, I'm only doing this to be holy and better than thou. Haha.
Well, thank you for gracing me with your presence and sharing your knowledge with me. I am quite appreciative.
The honor is all mine, Lady Fallow. If you say it's a personal thing, would you rather the Paladins not be informed, or...?
I don't want to cause a stir over something that might just be a theory right now. If you could keep this under wraps until I possibly come forward with it, that would be fantastic.
Just gonna roll. Okay. Very well, Miss Fallow.
Thank you. Please, be well.
He just slowly walks to the door and just, with a shaky hand, just opens it and just bows low as you walk out.
Kind of gives a slight curtsy in reply. And Nem is going to essentially, like, quickly walk out, like, as fast as possible.
Alright.
Her face just kind of, like, drops when she gets out and her shoulders slump. Ugh.
Okay. So, I imagine you very quickly get out of the church.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, the rest of you reconvene back at the Fallow Manor. Delson and Alicia, you are thankfully able to get through the Guild Circle. The guards that are on duty during the evening period, because it is evening by the time you get back, are less tightwads.
You mean someone didn't pickpocket them for their special ring?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yep. They will show the thing so that we get in.
Yep. They look at it, they see it's genuine, and they let you through. And you return back. I assume you return the ring back to Vincent.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not
He's on duty.
stealing his
He
ring.
takes it and pockets it. Alright. And then you reconvene once more over lunch, over dinner.
Well, it turns out that what I was looking into, I finally have something to go off of.
What is it that you're looking into?
I'm still looking into, like, if anyone's possibly seen my sister. Or if I'm looking for a skeleton at this point.
I'm...
Just keep up a little more hope that you'll find her.
Yes, and if you can't find it by words, you might be able to... there's a spell I've heard of that allows you to view an individual that you might know. The individual can resist it, of course, but unfortunately that spell is beyond my ability currently. I believe it's called scrying.
Brother, isn't there another spell that you know that might be a bit simpler?
You mean my ability to communicate with people across any distance?
Yes, maybe that could help him. I know that Delson is capable of learning such spells.
That is possible, although I wouldn't be able to use it to find Delson's sister myself, given I've never met her.
Yes. I can do a similar trick. And unfortunately, if we haven't met, then it's not possible.
Yes, that's why scrying would be the best one, because so long as you at least have some information of the individual, you can scry on them. Albeit you have some difficulty.
I have a question for Gratian that is out of... This is whether or not we know of information. Do we know... Has Gratian mentioned at any point that he has that potion of the dream potion thing? And I remember you buying it at some point.
I think I remember vaguely too. I don't know how it does though.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, it was
I
a
do
thing. I
vaguely.
remember. I wanted to buy it. I wasn't sure, but it was really quite expensive. But he bought it and he wanted to give it to me. But I just don't know if you still have it or if that happened. I just know that just because you typing the nature of the way that you have to communicate. Because I don't remember that happening in game, but yeah, it's not on your sheet. But I definitely remember you buying it.
Yeah.
You could say that at some point he gave it to you in the last month or so since you bought it, or whenever it was.
This is why our party is poor.
Okay, so there was maybe a point when we were traveling on the road there between, or was that when we were? No, yeah, that was the last town. That was in. Yeah, so if I have that, what does that do? It was basically just like you drink it and then you can do the dream spell.
Essentially, it's like the dream spell's been used.
Okay. Then I think I would pull that and Gratian gifted me this, and could you use it, Delson? It apparently allows one to travel to the dreams of another that you know and communicate with them. And you can appear once they sleep. You don't need to make sure they're sleeping, but once they do, you can mold the dream that you approach them in and have a conversation.
That it might be good. I just hope that it doesn't actually put me to sleep, because then it might not work at that point.
Oh, yes. You're right. Yeah, elves do have that,
Oh
don't
yeah,
they?
you're a half elf.
And if it's your sister, then no, I suppose this
Yeah.
wouldn't work.
Yeah, that might not work.
How unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
It depends, though. I'll
From
try
what-
doing
from-
it at night.
From what I know of
She's
dreams,
asleep at that point.
this is something that, due to you being an elf, might not have any effect on you.
Well, Norium, do you know of the spell that is probably on like a potion of dream? What you call that? Dream walking or something? You called it?
It's a
He's
potion of dream.
let's just see.
Are
Yeah,
you
there's like a
asking if he knows the dream spell?
Oh, or knows of it. Oh,
So I rolled an Arcana check for it.
okay, mine as well.
Yeah, because it does explicitly say creatures that don't sleep, such as elves, can't be contacted by this spell.
But Delson's a half elf, so it depends.
Exactly.
But do they have the same? They don't have like the same elven.
We have a ancestry still.
Yeah, so
that doesn't. But that doesn't mean that we don't need to sleep.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
do
say,
you-
It's,
but
it
you do
depends
you just
on the house rules, I think.
Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
it
does
does.
Delson have the thing where he trances? I just don't remember with how.
He doesn't know. Half elves do need to normally sleep.
Okay, so then it's. I
Yeah,
think that
they
he's
do.
still.
That's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with the Arcana check that Norium got and with Alicia got, basically it's the same score as each other. So, the dream spell shapes a creature's dreams, and they can recall it perfectly, and the messenger can let them know. Being a half elf, you need to actually sleep, don't you, Delson?
Yes, I do.
And your sister is a half elf as well?
Yes.
Then I can't imagine it not working. It should probably work if you need to sleep. Specifically, it's creatures that don't sleep can't be affected by it. And Alicia, you kind of, like, in your own head, you've worded it differently, but it's roughly the same thing.
Yeah.
Though there's a question of if she's sleeping at the same time or not.
It
Indeed.
lasts for 8 hours, so Delson could take it before he rests, and then as he sleeps.
Yeah.
Yes, and the thing is with that spell, it just occurred to me, is that if the individual's awake, then you would know it, and you can either end it early or wait for them to fall asleep.
And what if they were, and she kind of makes like a neck cutting motion.
Then the spell would fail instantly.
It would certainly be an answer.
It would be like if I were to use sending to you and you had met a demise. The spell would never reach you, and I would know.
That is so fucking menacing. Oh my god. Holy shit.
It is.
It's your decision,
Right.
Delson.
I've
You can
come to
have
terms
this.
I've come to terms that that might be the case. If anything, it'll finally be peace of mind.
Yeah, and so I'll give Delson the potion of dream, and he can choose to use it whenever he pleases, if he chooses to.
Well, for one
I
of
will
you-
use it tonight.
Well, then good luck on that then.
I hope you get good answers.
Or at the very least, a answer.
Yes.
As do I.
I guess on a different topic. This will be very brief. When I was down in the lower quarter, just asking, I ran into a dwarf who said that apparently one of his, they'd found one of the kidnapping victims from a while ago. It wasn't burned though, like you'd expect if it was a warden victim, but just drowned in the fields. So maybe if they are still here, probably extremely weak, or they're just trying to hide that they're still here killing people by not burning them.
At the same time, that could just be they got on the wrong side of some individuals.
Indeed. But that's just what I did get.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch to tie them. It's not the usual way of doing things.
I know. It's just
It seems odd, though, that... I mean, I did some more looking into, mostly about the mine, but I also did a bit of looking into in regards to the burnings a bit more that you talk about. All the kidnappings, even then, they never found a body. Which means that if this is the wardens you're talking about, then they're doing something with the corpses.
Well, if the wardens did the job properly, there wouldn't be much evidence left.
yeah.
And then when the sudden drop happened, that's when the kidnappings that came up with people came up with bodies.
Do you think there's a chance that they were doing something and they completed it?
I don't know. I mean, do we know what their goal is?
Religious bullshit. Our god is the best god, therefore you're inferior.
I believe they're trying to reach Sun's Saraksha, their holy land,
Yeah,
or
you guys
of
holy
sorts. It's a bit beyond me, but
Oh, he was that proficient in religion, and holy shit, he got a high roll.
nice.
I've heard fairy tales of that. Understand that when you live in a household that focuses a lot on church, and a certain individual is considered the basically child of a god, just take a sideways glance at Nemesis. You hear various tales.
Kind of has her head like in her hands.
Suncharaksha. That's not an... There was legends of a holy city once, but it wasn't called Suncharaksha. That might be a dwarven thing. It was simply called the Holy City. It was a grand, beautiful city in which the most devout of the gods resided. But in that tale it vanished. Said to be sleeping, awaiting for the worthy to come back.
Well, I guess they.
Trying to
Well, I guess they.
themselves worthy.
Exactly. I guess they assume that they make themselves worthy by disposing of the unworthy.
What was the full bit that you know of it from the dwarven side of things? Because for us humans, it was simply a case of the city would rise when that which is worthy appeared.
which is
It was something similar.
Saying as a DM, do you not remember the particular bit of it?
I'm trying to remember it.
Okay, so to help you out, so the bit that you heard was that that Sunshrockshire was lost to darkness and its streets covered in filth, which, from what the dwarf you spoke to said, the wardens had considered that as like non-believers infesting the city.
Okay.
Just giving a health account on that.
Except it wasn't as nice as just up and vanish for us. According to our priests and our scriptures, didn't so much vanish as was corrupted by the darkness. And they said that it was long ago. It was consumed by the darkness, and that the streets were covered in filth. And so the wardens at some point made the logical leap of, well, perhaps if we get rid of the filth, so to speak, from this plane, perhaps they'll get an entrance. So,
well, if that's the case, I think we can put the idea that they have succeeded out of there, because if they had succeeded 15 years ago, I'm fairly sure we would have known if the Holy City had returned.
Well, unless it's
eh,
more like an entrance, like, opens up.
Yes, but, and no offense, Trofnar, but the dwarves are very prideful, and if they do an achievement such as that, such as bringing back a legendary city, they would certainly brag about it.
Fair enough.
It would
that's
be
fair. Aye.
known everywhere.
Yes, it'd be common knowledge. The legend would become a truth.
True.
So if I had to hazard a guess, it wasn't a case of their mission succeeded.
Well, I mean, we have yet to find much trace of the higher ups. We ran into into one of the old ranks, but he was a sad, broken old man, trying to live out the rest of his days in peace and solitude. So, unless they did find it and he didn't get the message, but no, I think, in Maud's opinion, I think it's all the old shite, just, the priests or the priests or the kings or whoever trying to keep people in check, saying like, you're right, boys and girls, if you're good, this magical amazing city paved in gold where it rains ale will return and everything will be great. So
Is that what they say about the Holy City for dwarves?
I think
Sorry, what would you say?
He just said,
There's just embellishing.
yeah. But Norium doesn't know that. He thinks he's being serious.
And I think he's just embellishing to have fun.
Norium's a loser and he wants to learn.
Aye.
Dwarf Radel.
Well, in regards to the mine, again, I couldn't find much information. I do know that it was owned by one of the dwarven clans. I say owned. They obviously haven't came back to it in a while.
Which one?
It was looked after by the Stoneheaths.
What do I know of the Stoneheaths? Are they just like a famous mining family?
They are. I think I mentioned this one before. They are primarily focused on their infrastructure. They were the primary builders of the Grasp and the joining bridges that are over Jurhan.
That's it. Yeah. No, right. I mean, if you speak about the Stoneheaths, if I know them well, they build their shack to last. So, kind of shocked it's collapsing, to be honest.
Well, we did get something else that would kind of help with that theory.
Yes.
Nem, takes out the ledger and she's kind of like proudly displaying it to Nori, like, look what I got. I did something.
Just kind of like looks.
You don't.
One eyebrow raised. Just. Huh.
What? Why aren't you impressed? It's a list of names of people involved in the situation. It means we have more people to ask and get leads from. Things like that.
That's if they are still here, sister.
What? Just be excited.
I'll be excited if I see names that I recognize. Otherwise, there's no point getting excited because they won't be in the city.
Nemesis just kind of crosses her arms and like pouts a bit.
Norium
means
takes
that we have a list of names to look for
Yeah,
if
well,
we
I guess
go
as,
outside the city as well.
I guess as long as we're looking into Warden's Trofnar, have you looked through the list and see if you recognize any of your those former higher ups?
No, not yet.
We have the book right here, Trofnar. Would you like to look?
Fine. Alright, let's have a look then.
All right.
And I rather forcefully, just with a big sigh, rather forcefully grab the book from Nemesis' hands.
All right.
Accidentally tears in half.
So
Jeez.
you begin to look through it.
Just out.
There's quite a few names on here. You can see that each chapter is referencing a different temple. But you can see there's handwriting up the top on each one that just, says demolish, 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 etc. Yeah, and as you just quickly look through, you see all the temples that are listed, including there's a small sketch of where the area is. They all say demolished. You go through. None of the names really stick out until you get nearer to the end. You see a few names there that were high priests and such. And you can see missing, dead, missing. You get near to the back, and then you see two names that are on there, two recent names that you've heard of. The first one is Mora Flameseeker.
Oh, sugar. Okay.
Missing.
Sugar. Okay, that's fun.
And the last one is, once I find the name myself.
It's not a glowhammer.
No, your name isn't on there. You look through each. You look through just to make sure.
Good finishing to run it.
I'm just quickly trying to find the fucking name because I don't. You actually do find Larret Glowhammer.
Sorry, what was the first name? Glowhammer.
Larret Glowhammer, which was the dwarf that you knew in, the dwarf. He was Tillar Yellowsmith, as you knew him.
Yeah.
And it says, and looking at it, it's the the writing here, it's quite old. It's clearly not been drawn into a file, but on Larry it says dead. You assume that because he took on the alias and everything, that he's basically faked his death kind of deal. And the other one you see is Vesper Flameseeker. And that one, it's just says missing. Several of the high priests that you know of are either unaccounted for or have passed. You do see a few that says executed as well.
So those at least are we're pretty 100% sure they're dead. At least.
Well, the ones that say executed or dead, unless they fake their death.
Indeed.
Looking at it, you're fairly confident the ones that say executed are probably dead. The ones that are dead, it's a case of...
I guess executions tend to be decently fatal, so...
Yes.
Generally.
There tends to be no coming back from an execution.
Most you can think your death through execution.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, my memory's so bad. Which... Because I thought one of the Flame Seekers was dead.
Mora, Flameseeker.
That's it. Okay.
But it seems at the time of this writing...
now the leader.
Yeah, but it seems at the time of this writing...
I knew one of the Flame Seekers was the leader, but I didn't remember which way round was the dead one and the one who he was currently leading them?
Yeah, so Mora Flameseeker was the leader when you were around, who, according to Larret, has passed, but clearly not before they've made their escape from Ulmendau. Vesper is the one that you know is the current leader.
Alright. Right. Interesting company in the city.
It looks like a large amount of them were either killed or unaccounted for.
Hey, good. But the ones who are missing, I got me troubled.
I'd also heard that basically all the priests of Morian were gone. Are there any of them that aren't confirmed missing or dead in there? Like just in general?
Yeah, anyone that might still be here.
You look through. No, unfortunately not.
No.
They're all fucking dead.
Them is looking real sour.
Why? Why? Because she just sees her liege as this amazing liege she got just ebb away.
Norian just like reaches over and just gently puts his hand on top of yours. Don't worry. This is still useful for us. Because this still gives us names.
Yeah.
While it might not help you here in Ulmendau, if you run across and start asking for these names in other places, that's an
A
advantage.
good way to get stabbed in the night.
You said it, not me.
We usually have to deal with that anyways with Fortune around.
See.
Good thing that there's usually 2 people per room.
Alright.
That way we have
Well,
buddy.
So
said
it's
that
not.
I was only borrowing this, so we should transcribe it.
I can do
I
that
need-
for you if you'd like.
Do we want to just keep the names, as they are? I can, encrypt it if you want.
Well, no, I think what she meant is that she needs to give the book back.
I know, but do we just want to keep it?
Yes, you can copy down the book for us while we're gone to the mines.
Very well.
And I sort of lean over and go to the book and I point and I say, while we're gone, also find everything you fucking can about these 2. And I point to the names Mora Flameseeker and Vesper Flameseeker.
I know of Mora. She was. I only know that because she was the leader of the Wardens. This Vesper one's an interesting one. I'll see what I have, though we tend not to keep a lot of information about the other kingdoms.
Just to double check, did the book say that Mora was missing?
Yes. Around the time that her name was put in there, she was still alive, it seems.
Yeah, but Laura said that she
Yeah,
was dead.
yeah. So I'll go. Morium, go. This is way out of date. Mora died ages ago. Vesper's leading the gang now.
Well, depending on how long ago this was written, it could have been written when she was still alive.
I guess and they wrote this when they were rounding them all up.
Yes.
Cracking down,
I mean, they fell out of favor around grandfather's time, so.
Well, murdering hundreds in cold blood does that.
Yes, so you're looking at about 50 or 60 years.
Aye.
What happens when you wait over 50 or 60 years? And she kind of looks at Trosnar. To stop a cult.
I just look over to her with a mixture of I'm sorry and I want to fucking punch you.
Yeah.
Well,
She just has like this smug look on her face.
Well, what I'm saying is that the temples were dedicated to Morian, not the Wardens, which is why they were still here until recently. I say recently.
Well, the Wardens did their actions in honor of Morian, so.
Yeah, so
Makes sense that Morian's temples and the wardens go hand in hand.
yes, it could have been
Sounds
that they
more like
were.
dishonor.
It could be that they were hiding in those temples, using them as a backdrop to do their various business, and obviously, for all we know, Mother might have done some good removing them.
It's probably the only good thing she did.
Well, that sounds like a rarity.
You have no idea.
Although I don't consider
I'm not
like,
sure she had good intentions, though.
I
in
don't
doing
think
it.
so either. I think it's just a consequence of her actions.
At least something good happened as a consequence.
sometimes they do. Good things for
Oh
bad.
yeah, it's like how the Nazis were the first country to have a nationwide smoking ban.
Oh my god.
We are not going into this.
As Nelson literally just keeps smoking in the background.
I don't even think he's like allowed to smoke in the house either. Like he's just doing it.
Yeah, every time you see Norian look up, like you just see the occasional like, just tug of it, like twitch of his eye slightly.
Yeah.
Like on one of the beads, it's like it's like
going to
okay, let me
steal the
smoke with you too.
tapestries.
Sorry, I kind of wanted to see. It's like okay, when we smoke with you. Darn. No,
This
well.
isn't a peace pipe. If it was, everyone would get high.
Delson's bogarting it.
Alright.
Alright.
Norian will transcribe the book while we go to the mine and see if there's anything there.
You're going tonight, or
We're going tomorrow in the morning.
very well.
I'm just going to put out this pipe.
You very quietly hear Norian go, "Oh, thank God."
Just cashes it on the floor. It's like, thanks, Delson.
No, of
Before,
course it'll be cashed in a proper waste disposal thing.
Are we saying, Ged?
before I leave, can I get I get up,
Yes.
walk over to Norium and basically grab him like by his shirt collar, look into his eyes and basically say, "You swear right now you will not let that fucking book out of your sight."
Oh my god, Nemesis immediately tries to grapple him.
He, Norian holds up a hand towards you. Trofnar, we're friends here. I haven't done anything bad to you. So you have my word that I won't do anything bad to the book, and I won't let it go out of my sight.
Nemesis looks like she's about to let something bad happen to Trothnar.
But at the same time, you're ruining my shirt, so could you be a dear and let go? I can see there's no fear in his face.
I let go, but purposely rip a bit of the shirt collar.
Oh wow, what a guy.
That would.
Can
Yeah.
someone teach Trothar some manners?
It's just a bit of a pause. He just brushed himself. That's going to be annoying to explain. Just guys tries to fix the shirt up a bit.
Nem like goes to like help him, and she just has this look of death on her face towards Trothnar.
Very
That
well.
was a bad move. Oh my god.
Right, well, if that's the case, then I wish you all good night. And he, like, stands up, takes a book, and walks off towards the library.
I literally follow him like a hawk as he leaves the room. No, with my eyes, sorry, I should say.
Yeah, so he goes through the door and just slams it.
What is wrong with you?
Dude, yeah, that was really fucked up for a man who's been helping us.
I think we all know that Trothnar is dealing with this is very difficult for him.
We have the
Oh,
closest thing.
that's amazing. That's my brother that you've put your grubby little hands on.
Hey, he took
Listen.
a bath within the month.
All I have to say that I can trust him is your word and your blood. That's it.
Yeah,
You know
and
what?
I've always helped you, haven't I?
Aye, but how long
Sigh.
have you been gone from home?
It's been a
People
while, but I
change.
trust Norium. I trust him with my life.
Good for
Besides,
you. I've only known him for a week.
besides, I've been here and I've also done research with him. He doesn't seem like a bad person or the type that would turn traitor for any reason. With that being said, Nem, if something like that happens again, I'm authorizing you to use my rifle or my musket.
You shoot me?
I would have knocked him out if
What the fuck?
Norium hadn't stopped me.
You're not the
You're
only
lucky.
one. You look back, you see Gemma's just leaning against the wall. Just you can see she's got a, like, jaw set.
Yeah, Nem's like, you can see her fists are like clenched and shaking.
It's the best piece of evidence, the best clue we've had at finding the cunt I used to work for. If we already suspect that the wardens may have had some involvement with the Ormondau government. I am not letting that really uncunt run away with it.
My brother is not part of whatever my mother was a part of. I know that. I trust that.
And let's hope you're right.
Of course, nothing could be wrong with your precious little brother, could it?
Nem is completely just red in the face. Just, she looks like she's about to commit a homicide.
I'm just going to casually walk over, and I'm gonna hit Trotnar in the back of the head with the butt of the musket.
Ow.
Ow.
Trotnar, I know this is hard, but we have to trust. You have to trust him. We have to have faith in others. Because this isn't something that's going to solve itself, especially with all the time that's gone by. So, please, tone down the aggression.
I'm going to check on him. And Nem's face just kind of like melts into concern and goes to see Nori.
Alright.
I have something, and I'm going to go to my own room.
Okay, what's the rest of you doing?
I'm just. I'm going to. Can I ask one of the maids where the stables are?
Zesta points out where it is.
Okay.
I'm guessing they're near the training grounds.
Yeah.
Because I need to go check on Milo and my ale.
Your ale was brought in.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in your
For a
room.
moment, I thought Trotnar was about to commit Grand Theft Milo.
That's it. I'm out of here, and I'm taking this donkey with me.
That'd be amazing. Like, I need something to carry my ale. Fuck you.
Yeah, no, you brought the ale in.
Yeah, Valeth brought it to your
this
room.
all this. Never mind all the shenaniganery involving the stables, and I'll just head angrily and a half head to my room.
Okay.
I think I'll head up to the library. Go
Alright.
look up something.
Okay. Also told
me
Truffnut.
and Gratian, like in the room that we were talking, it was like a dining room, right? I'm
Yes.
imagining like a long table.
Yes.
Me and
Right.
Gratian play paper football, like down the length of the really long table.
Oh my.
Yeah. Drafter, as you're leaving, you do notice out of the corner of your eye, Gemma's just watching you like a hawk. Alright.
Do I notice she's doing it, by the way?
You
I did.
definitely... She's not, like, making it discreet. Just eyes narrowed, just watching you.
I look behind me, see she's glaring at me. Just do like a big sigh, turn around, and then turn back towards my room and just keep walking.
Alright.
I wonder if we're tossing him in the pond again.
So, Nemesis, you arrive in the library first. You can see that Norium's already there, sitting at his desk with, the book on one side. You can see he's just writing in another one, just occasionally looking over. His shirt is still ripped and such, but he's still just looking for it.
Nem's got like her hands together. She looks like a guilty child that just like broke something.
Can you lay on hands a shirt?
No.
You could mend a shirt though.
Can mend it.
Which I don't think Norium has that spell.
Nem just kind of quietly stares at him. I actually have to check. He does not have mending, no.
You're doing the thing that you do again, sister.
I'm not doing a thing.
Exactly.
Nem like goes and sits across from him.
He's just still got his head down, just writing the names over.
Are you mad at me?
No, I'm not mad. I'm mad at myself, honestly.
Why is that?
Just kind of like he just puts the quill back in the ink and just sits back. I'm sure you're aware. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it that I'm a plane hunter now. I did it so that I would be able to stave off anything that might come for me, but also once strong enough to do what a big brother should do and protect you, but I couldn't even really get a drunken dwarf off me.
You know that I can handle myself. That isn't something that you have to do, and Trosnar's a moron.
I'm also trying to get myself because we've lived in this city for years. We've seen how it's changed. First with grandfather, then with mother. And yet this entire time, under our very noses, people were being taken by this cult. And we did nothing to stop them. We are the heirs to the Fallow family, and we couldn't do anything. And now we can't even go out without them hating us, spitting on our names.
I know. But you've told me before that I am not responsible for Mother's actions, for using us as pawns. The same applies to you. We aren't responsible for any of this. I mean, now, yes, we can take things and try to improve them, but we can't feel guilt for things that happened out of our control.
The problem is, though, is that when the time comes and you become the leader, all of this, all of the consequences of Mother's action, they will become your responsibility just by becoming the leader of the Fallows.
shouldn't even become leader. This is your thing. You do a much better job than I.
Yes, but you know that Mother will be the one to push you to be leader.
Well, there's one thing that she can't stop. It's us working together.
Yes, and thankfully, well, hopefully, what I can do now will help enough.
No matter what, we always have each other.
That we do. And
Nim
it,
kind of puts a hand on his.
and at this point, Alicia, you end up coming in to the library to do your own stuff. Oh, yes. Hello, Alicia, was it yes? What can we help you with?
Nim kind of snatches her hand away and crosses her arms.
I think Balum's muted himself.
Yeah,
Oh,
Balum's muted.
fuck.
Whoops.
Well, yeah, I forgot. I don't use it during talk. What was the last thing you said? I got.
You had walked in just at the end of their conversation,
Yeah, sorry.
and he was just asking what
Did Nim do
was
something
going
to
on.
me?
Nope.
No, Nem like snatches her hand away from Norium's and crosses her arms, kind of death glaring you.
I can come back in a few minutes. I actually want to look at stuff in the library.
No, it's fine, it's fine. We,
Walks
it's-
in an awkward family conversation.
Lots
It's like,
already.
I'm just
He's
here to
already
read
walking
books,
out.
actually.
No,
Already
it's fine. It's fine. Trust me. We were just talking about old times. That's all. We're done now.
Yes, I suppose so. Be careful of Essie, she bites.
Hmm?
Esper, and I point to the pseudo dragon that's sleeping on a pile of books.
Yeah, in like high up on the bookshelves.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so awesome. I just love pseudo dragons that are like cats. It's amazing.
Yeah.
She
You're saying they
will
are-
bite you, and she will hiss, and she will sting. Trust me, I know.
Yes, it's best to stay away from the bookshelf, just to be on the safe side. She's a light sleeper.
Only person she's ever nice to is Norium.
With good reason. I look after her.
I do things for her. I give her pretty dresses.
Norian just looks up at
I look after her.
Essie.
That's probably about the same as what Scamper thinks about the
Yeah.
armor.
Alright. So, Alicia, what are you doing then?
I was actually gonna come and look about more like potion making. Like I know how to find herbs, but I don't really have. I'm not as good at making potions.
We might have a few books. I think he just like points in like one of the corners. I think over there.
Potion making, like me. I think I'll come to, I guess.
Yeah. So go ahead and make an investigation check to see how fruitful your book is.
How fruitful the book is. Like
How
rolling for
the book searching is, yes.
Made out of bananas.
21. So you find several books about alchemy. They are pretty much about how to make different kind of potions, like the apparatus and such. You can spend the night reading it, but you'll get a point of exhaustion because you'd be reading through the night.
Well, not spend the night through it, but like cruise it. Maybe at least find the book that I might spend some.
Okay,
time
yeah. So you find the books and such.
with. Any recommendations, Norium?
I'm afraid alchemy is beyond my capabilities.
Should just ask Delson. Well,
This whole time, Nem's just glaring.
I thought you were gonna have left already.
Don't you steal away.
She isn't gonna leave you alone with Norium. Are you crazy?
The amount of
And Raya, yes, there is a wine cellar.
Oh god.
And the last time someone go in there, it's like,
Yeah,
no, Luke, don't go in there.
Sure. I'm feeling better.
Yeah, you might have to get through Zessa.
Yeah, you might have to get through Zessa.
Mm-hmm.
So you try to, but Zessa is obviously there and says, No. We can get you the drinks that you might want, but you're not going into the wine cellar.
Yes, and I'm a level 20 fighter
I knew
that
these
guards
people
only
You
the wine
couldn't
cellar.
trust.
There are expensive wines there that are reserved for occasions by the mistress, not Lord and Lady Fallow. The mistress and her husband. The ones which we can give you, we will let you drink, but you don't know what level Zessa is.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
just
God.
3 simple words, Sav. Roll
I
to it.
feel like the help here just hates every single one of Nemesis' friends. Like,
Just-
I mean,
can't think of-
Delson has been pretty nice.
but like
despite
the first thing
Dunn.
he did was like, yeah, it's like a dude comes
And
over to
he
your house,
flirted
like, I
with
gotta
Zessa.
practice my shooting, and then goes outside and like starts firing his gun, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay,
I also just kind of
I
like
mean,
Not the time.
Fortune hasn't done anything bad that I know of.
Yeah, I
And
think that-
Valeth is just Valeth.
I'm also just kind of
yeah,
liking the image of this like fucking tall centaur being turned away and outdone by a little halfling.
Yeah.
and she's
little
like, nope,
halfling
you can't go in
woman.
the basement. And it's like, and Raya's just silently thinking, it's like,
Yes, it is.
I could destroy you, I could throw you across the room.
Look, if you want ale or anything, we can get you it, but it's just you can't go in the wine cellar. Name your drink, we'll get you it, but we have to go get it.
And Norium teaches dead bodies.
Oh my god, you
I'm
guys.
starting to believe that there's something in the wine cellar. I don't know if it's just
Oh my god.
noble,
There's like
noble
bodies
stuff.
or something.
or just
Take
like,
a
you know, like a door, like some hidden bullshit, or I don't know.
Secretly,
There's
the
a very
warden's
valuable
are.
thing in there called wine.
This is
Yeah,
where
like it
I'm-
makes sense to me. It's like
Yeah.
it is just the wine cellar. They don't want people
Like-
raiding
like-
it and drinking all the
rich-
really expensive
like,
old
like
wine.
rich nobles, like probably one of their biggest investments will probably be their wine cellar.
Yeah,
That's also a good like that would be a good place to hide something.
I'm just
God.
sitting here
Oh,
just
God.
like they're picking up all these things and I know the truth.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm sitting here like, oh dear lord.
just trust my family.
It's
It's,
just a
not
wine.
evil. It's like
The secret
believe
truth.
Okay.
The secret truth is the warden's are down
Nem
there.
never said to trust her family. She said to trust Norium specifically.
yeah, that's
Like,
why
yeah.
I don't trust the building because it is like your family's
it's
stuff.
not. Trust.
All right.
She should.
the
Your mother,
real-
your mother could have a super villain lair in the wine
Real
cellar. I
man.
don't know.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Never see Thanos
Yeah.
died 20 years ago.
So
So
All I know
annoying.
is that I'm going to drink this potion like right as everyone's about to go to bed.
okay.
So
So you drink
Norium.
the potion and you fall into a trance. So who's your target?
Target is Nelson's sister.
Okay.
want to name drop your name?
The spell connects, meaning that yes, she is alive.
Yep.
And you also sense as well, because of how the nature is, that she is currently asleep. As you open your eyes, though, you find yourself in a barren landscape, completely empty. Now, you know, roughly from what you've been told, that this puts you into their dreams. The entire area around you, though, is just flat and grey.
Ellie.
There's no response.
What is this place? Where is this? I'm going to try and look around and see if there's like anything like mountains, desert dunes.
You don't need to do a perception check. As you look about, it's just completely flat, as far as the eye can see. And you look about, and then you look down at yourself. Everything's in grayscale. There's no colours whatsoever.
My
sister the dog.
Yeah, you can control the dream.
I will try to I'll try to make something rise, attempt to get her attention.
Alright, so you
Response.
raise up. And keep in mind as well that even though you're in her dream and such, you don't see her anywhere. You can like lift a
Yeah.
hand up and sort of try to raise it up. It raises slowly. There's no sound whatsoever.
God, this isn't good at all. I would wish to try to attempt to make trees or plants appear.
Alright. And they do.
Particularly,
So the trees and plants do come up as you just imagine them. It takes a lot of focus. You get the feeling that it should not be this difficult to do it, but you're able to mentally force like trees and grass to show. And they do originally show full of colour, but then the colour quickly drains. They're still there, but they're just now in pure grayscale.
is this the influence of I will actually speak out the name of room.
No response.
Have you... Jeez. I know you're somewhere around here, Eleanor. I don't know where, but please don't tell me that this is one of those things. Things I've met. Things Veleth. I was in the temple we went to with Veleth.
Make a perception check for me.
Okay. Oh, yes. This... Oh boy, this is great. Oh, actually that is good.
You can see very far into the distance a figure. Too far away for you to see.
I want to try and approach the figure
Okay.
cautiously,
Alright.
and I will... Can I manifest my gun in the dream?
Yep.
Or at least
So your
doing...
rifle appears in your hand as you walk forward. It feels like it's an eternity. It's almost like as you take a step forward, it slides away, but you gradually get close to it. It's a figure. The figure is humanoid. You can see a long black hair, messy with few grey streaks. It's definitely not your sister. This appears to be a male, and he's just leaning over a table, scraping something in it.
I slowly raise the rifle as I get closer.
Figure stops and sort of like brings himself up to full height. Sort of looks a bit to the side. You can't see his face. Oh. What's this, my little butterfly? A rat has arrived in your den?
I am no rat. Now show me. What is that you're scratching at?
There's a gush of wind, and almost like he's made of dust, he vanishes alongside the table. It's another brush, and there's another brush of wind, and the figure is now behind you, about 60 feet. No table, but you still can't see his face. It's just masked in a dark shadow.
Who are you? And why have you invaded my family's dreams?
Interesting. I believe it's a guest that should make that introduction. What are you doing in my butterfly's dreams?
Your butterfly
Yes?
is my sister, and I have been looking for her for ages. Can I start manifesting an entire pack of lions behind me?
Alright, you do that. Oh, you would do this to your sister's dreams. You would ruin them while she needs her rest. You would do that.
What is going on here?
I don't need to tell you what I am doing here. I don't need to tell you anything.
Are you perhaps familiar with the name of room then?
You say names. And yet, these names are ones of no interest to me.
And yet, you're here, someone that is very dear to me, and yet there's no response from her.
Of course not. She is resting. She is dear to me as well.
Then tell me, what name may I address you by? Should you do that, I shall also give you my own name, though I'm sure you may know if you know my sister.
I know of you, Delson. Your sister talked about you many a time. As for my name, my name is not important to the likes of you. You do not deserve to know my name.
On the contrary, if you're the force that's been keeping her away from family this long, it's very important to me.
What I am doing is my own business, not yours.
That so? Musket will again be raised.
You would cloud her dreams with scenes of violence? That's not like you, Delson.
You have no You have no idea what kind of lengths I would go to ensure that she's returned home safely, even if I have to turn myself into a monster to do so.
And what if she doesn't want to, Delson? What if she wishes to remain? Did you ever think of that? Did that ever cross your mind?
Then I would rather her tell us this with her own words, rather than have you say anything.
You are wasting your breath and time, Delson. She will not speak until she is ready to come back to us all.
So you do know more.
I know what I need to know, and I told you what I feel you deserve to be told. You are free to play in her dreams all you want, Elson. It matters not. For she is with me, and that is where she shall stay.
And I guess I'll be looking for you.
I wish you luck on that. And there's a
Lord.
breeze of wind again, and he vanishes.
Well, I still have time in this dream.
I mean, the duration of the dream spell is 8 hours, so...
Yep. I will at least build a scene, something that she would recognize. That would be a forested area from their childhood, complete with wildlife roaming in it, and at the edges of it, blooming tiger lilies.
Alright.
And I will also leave this message. I'm here, dear sister. I don't know what's going on. But if this is your wish to be here, I won't fight it. But until I know that for certain, I am coming for you. And I won't stop. Not until I have stopped breathing, that is. Until then, I'm here.
Alright. And as you let go of the spell, you hear, just echoing around you, the voice of the man. As you come back to your own body. Alright, so I would assume at this point that everyone is like sleeping and everything.
Yeah, I think so.
Suppose
Outside of obviously Valith, because Valith.
Or Norium, because he's Norium.
Norium, because Norium.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
if that's the case, I want everyone but Delson to make a wisdom saving throw. Peach and Valith, you have advantage.
Interesting. Okay.
All right.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I don't think I'll get a reason to measure any benefits.
Hello.
This feels like the last time that this happened in like my dream.
Nice. Everybody's actually pretty wise today. That's a surprise.
Right?
Everyone can.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Tom,
unwise today.
can you roll for me? I'm having trouble with roll 20.
The Karmora session, technical issues. Let me, where the fuck are these characters? There they are.
I meant to, before we kind of got sidetracked, I was going to ask Norium if he'd be fine with me taking some of the books from the alchemy books that I was trying to...
Yeah, he lets you. He's fine with it.
Alright. Maybe I'll keep like one or two of them. Say like...
Okay, I rolled the wisdom on Truff. Oh, did I just accidentally brush by it?
I'll have your...
There we go.
Let me just write the book.
19. Yeah, we're all pretty good at.
Yeah,
Hey, look,
everyone's...
it's me,
Yep.
boy.
He rolled twice. Oops. Oopsie pipsy.
I'm so wise.
Yep. There. Who's left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gratian, that's the one that's missing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just roll for him. Thanks, son.
Hey.
Damn, guys. Look at us not being idiots.
Look at us. Amazing.
Well,
So
I mean,
what
except for one.
So what happens to me?
Okay, so
That's pretty much
Bye
the
bye.
fail.
Alicia, as
You wake up and you're done. No.
no, this is what happened. So,
Okay.
Alicia,
DC actually less than 15.
as you are sleeping,
Mm-hmm.
your eyes open and you find yourself in a dark area. Like, you look around and you can just see darkness around you, but looking at your own being, it's as if you're standing in a sunny day.
I look sunny, but everything around me looks dark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you can't even see the ground that you're standing on, for example. As you kind of listen, you start to see shifting shapes around you. You see tendrils of darkness just reach up and begin to like wrap around the area. A large humanoid figure, its head the size of your own body, faceless and featureless, kind of rears upwards about 20 feet from you. You. Help.
Hell?
A debt remained.
That means... What are you?
Need him.
Does anything else seem to start happening?
No, this, whatever it is, just appears to be looking at you, as if waiting for a response.
What help do you want?
Oh, man. Let me have him.
Man? Let me have him?
Now you can see the tendrils, like, they sort of enclose a bit, but as they get a bit closer, they instantly, like, snap back, almost as if something... almost as if it's afraid of something.
So, like... Hey. Who is the man?
Let me in.
I'm not letting you in for now. What do you want?
And you see while the tendrils begin to lash forward, there's a flash of light. You have to shield your eyes for a second. And you see, like, the figure and the tendrils, so, like, backing away and flailing about. In front of you, you can see another humanoid figure. This one, about 5, 6 or so. Pure gold, bathed in what looks like white and golden armor. You hear the dark figure, God protect them all, before it vanishes into the ether. The armor-clad figure lowers its shield. Just sighs and blinks out of existence.
That couldn't have been Rune, right?
You kind of like blink again, and you're back in your room.
What? I'll get up and go looking for the lift.
Okay.
What time is it right now?
It is looking outside. The sun's coming up.
Actually, I'm gonna go looking for Gillette as well.
Okay.
Dream gang.
Yes.
I was probably just like in the library, like looking through things absent-mindedly, not really.
Noam had
looking
been
for
in there
anything
until he fell
particular.
asleep.
Yeah.
Like he's just
So is
there.
he just sleeping in the library right now?
Yes.
Hey,
Not
Varys, you
surprising.
know about
Okay.
spooky
I
shit,
would
don't you?
I would have got a blanket for Nori.
Yeah.
Oh.
Valeth,
Left.
Valeth, I have
Is
something I
is-
need to speak to you about.
Oh, hey,
something
Dawson.
wrong? Are we being
Yes.
attacked?
No. Well, maybe.
It's
You two look very sweaty.
I don't know if that's a comment to me or to.
Mind that door on if you tell me, carry on.
I'll.
Are you all right?
I used the potion.
Did you find anything out?
I did, and that's why I've come to you.
What did you see?
He'll get the sense from you then. But sorry.
I saw a grayscale landscape of a flat, barren plain, and it was hard to like manipulate it or anything in there. And then I didn't see my sister in the dream at all. She didn't speak or respond, but I did see a figure in it. A tall man with black and gray streaks in their hair. And no facial features at all.
Did he have a
Seemed
smile or a grin?
nothing. It
Hmm.
was like a void where his face should be, yet he kept speaking eloquently. He called my sister his little butterfly. And he seemed to have control of the dream we were in, far greater than what I had.
That's grim, but
It,
at least
You never saw your sister?
not at all. Almost like kept saying if I ever thought she didn't want to go back, but yet she would, for some reason, she was not speaking. I did not see her at all. Makes me think that he's had some kind of holdover, or
like
at least in a mental dreamscape.
like stealing her away or something. Like
It's possible.
Mhm.
I don't know.
well,
It could be the feaster,
at least
the entity that was. It's something similar from the time of my patron.
what the enemy of your patron or something.
I believe so. I believe at least they're at odds with one another, though I believe they're both simply powerful entities.
All I know is that I don't know what he is. All I know is
Wait.
that the way he speaks is covetous.
I don't
There's something dark.
remember you mentioning much about your sister before Delson.
She's always rather kind individual. Definitely following after my mother's steps, way more in tune with nature. Definitely, I'd say definitely more of a ranger in tune with nature than Gratian is.
Hmm.
So this
Nope.
is
Is
troubling.
And you've been looking for her this entire time.
I've been looking for a decade. She's been gone that long. That was when
Did she-
communication with her stopped.
So she left home and then suddenly stopped sending messages back.
Even after she left, even for a little while, she would send messages. Let's know things about her.
Hmm.
Only knows that this entity knows of me well too.
Do you know if she was into anything that she could get in over her head about? Was she just traveling, or
She never dabbled into the occult or much of the arcane. Only thing I could think of would be that she too she might have had a desire for vengeance potentially too. Oh, a debt remains.
Well, that's for what you call it, Alicia's thing, not.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm afraid because I'm aware that voice was hard to understand.
That remains.
Yeah, it was
I missed
a debt remains, and it was can't protect them all, not God protect them all.
I don't know if this entity that's occupying your sister's dreams is. It could be Room. Could be one of the entities at odds with him. I had a dream before we left. Was it Grothfield? Is that where it was?
Yes.
Yeah, it was Gottfield.
Before we left Grothfield. But I'm unsure if these things are connected.
What was in your dream?
I was walking down a dried up riverbed. The sky was blue. The ground shook. Large cliffs came up from either side. I saw a bridge and a figure. I heard the words prevent. There's markings on the bridge of the wall near him. And then I saw myself with a sword drawn. It smiled at me with a toothy grin. He asked who sent me. And I think it's possible it's a similar individual, but I did see their face. Well, they took on my visage. I'm
So
unsure.
it's very they didn't have a face of their own.
That's very possible, yes.
Well, this dream business.
Did you
Disconcerting.
have a dream as well, Alicia? You seem just as concerned as Delson.
Yes. I guess I'm a bit more concerned because it's so random, or I guess considering what Delson just said, it's not a coincidence. But in my dream, all around was darkness, except for maybe a spot of light, maybe a few feet or so around. Tendrils there, and I saw a large, dark figure, but it looked dark and hard to tell what I saw. It spoke. It said things like it wanted help, undead remains, or maybe dead remains. I barely understand it. It wanted something, a man, He wanted to let him have them. He also wanted to asked me to let him in, but I denied because he wouldn't speak. Although I don't know if I would have been able to stop him. God protect them all, or can't protect them all.
Saying as the DM, it was can't protect them all. It wasn't.
I'm just gonna say them both because of what I heard. So
I
let's just say both.
apologize. I've never done that voice
Like-
before.
It's like, well, I'm just gonna say because I couldn't. It's like more fun to say a character that like I don't know what exactly I heard as easily. And then at the end, very shortly before I woke up, a golden or angelic figure appeared. I don't know. I highly doubt it was Rune, but I did have contact with him because of what happened when we had contact with Rune back at your patron's thing.
Yes.
I was one of the few who had that dream. I don't know if that's why I had that dream in the first place as well.
Could just be her nature as well.
Do you know of a like angelic dream figure?
I have these. I have this book that I got from that guy. I forget his name. Zizik? Was that Zizik?
Zigzit.
Zigzit.
The mage in Groffield?
The guy who was a void bro.
Oh.
You mean,
No, that was the guy in Leviathan's Lure.
Yes.
No,
Let
don't you
me. I
mean-
got his name.
Oh yeah, that was a different person.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Zigzit was the Dunamancer. Was
I
found
don't think
in.
your name is it.
It was Olar.
Olar, that's what Olar the Triton. Yes, the Triton at the shop that we went to at one point, and here, and I'll I'm just gonna copy the like jumbled. There's a bunch of other stuff in here, and I'm just gonna copy it into the campaign notes, and we can. And
You
then
mean the bit from the old tome?
Yeah, from the old tome.
Okay,
that was like the important amount of that information, and I'll explain to them the stuff that I found, just because it's not like we're all reading it together. It's like, like, this is what I found. And
I just realized I've put it as planes as in meow meow planes, not planes as in planes as in PLAI.
Yay.
Did you have Beast roll a wisdom save as well? Forget.
Yeah,
yeah, I just
he had
succeeded.
advantage.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you feel anything though?
No, I was wandering the halls and enjoying the books in here.
I imagine Delson wouldn't have felt anything, considering he had did it himself.
But it's possible that these were the same individuals, or it's possible they were others from the time of the dark, still around, trying to manipulate things from behind the curtains. None of what you described seems like any of these individuals.
It could be the Star Eater. What is it? It says darkened forevermore. I basically was standing completely in darkness.
It's true.
You could also look into the Conqueror's Plains.
Here's to always have gone for and failed. Carlos, numbered by speaks out within. It
doesn't seem like any of these in particular, so.
I doubt. Did you see Rune? That's the one who you said was he who watches dreams?
Yes.
Or is that...
I actually mentioned the name of Room to this being. They were not concerned about them.
Yes, so it's probably not him. But
He did not care.
Maybe. What if
does
the...
tend to. Sorry.
Yeah. What if the one down, last one that like ooped because there's can't read any of the name. Unstoppable Brains. Deception. Kind of sounds a little like possibly, based on how you phrased it. He said he talked very little, tried to, I don't know exactly say trick you, but seemed very smart.
Yes.
Incredibly smart.
But
I almost feel like might see my whole goal as almost game.
I mean, I doubt that the angelic figure I saw was Rune. Does that sound like
No, that sounds like something else. I don't know
Yeah.
what, though. A protector of some sort, or something, or someone else?
Yeah. At best, I can look through the books or ask. Yes, Nemesis.
You said
You should.
they were clad in gold.
Clad in gold, something like angelic. No, it could be
Shimmering
just
light. Yes.
could just be someone. Could be one of the deities. It would be one of. None of us are really particularly blessed in regards to among the gods except for Nemesis, which, sadly, I don't remember her name because it never comes up. Her name of her god. Forget. My head.
I don't
I'm
think
gonna be
any of us
honest,
know Nemesis God.
Do we actually know? I thought at least at some point we'd heard
I
it.
thought we did, but I
has
don't
He
know.
only
never
said it
told
a
us.
few times.
Yeah,
He's
it
very
hasn't
vague about
come
it.
up. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
she
Oh, shit.
worships
It must-
Orion, the god of knowledge.
Okay.
That seems
Oh,
She's a
shit.
nerd. Because she's a big nerd. Sorry.
Nerd.
Ration's right. It must be the Lich King.
it's a fish.
Ah, our
Yeah,
best.
Nem's pretty vague about it, so if you forgot, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think that we know.
I think she's
Oh, did
literally
I-
mentioned it like 3 times.
Yeah.
I'll say it in
Yeah.
character. I just don't remember off the top. Say it, she doesn't remember in character. Then if you say it really rarely,
She's deliberately vague about it, so
This is.
Yeah, because some of the rest of the group playing it, she's a nerd.
so I mean,
It's
unless
possible that somehow Delson contacting his sister made this individual he spoke to aware of him and put him on the radar, and somehow that extended to the rest of us, and your nature allowed for him to contact you as well.
maybe
Though
it
I
is-
wonder why I wasn't contacted. Or perhaps Rune is protecting me.
perhaps. No, it does seem odd that it doesn't. I'm not exactly sure if it was malicious, the dark being. It did seem like it wanted to lash out, but more like just because I wouldn't help him.
Yeah, from what you
Also-
described, it seemed desperate.
Yeah, it said protect, and I think it said can't. Maybe that being.
What was this man he spoke of?
I don't know. He basically
Just-
after I was trying to get something out of it, but I could barely understand it at all, and just basically by the time that I did that, it might have, if I'd let him in, maybe I would have seen who it was, but I don't know.
Well,
if it's
for
possible,
now we should mention this to everybody in the morning. But
I think it is morning. If it
yes,
was
the
protect,
sun is
When
coming
they
up
wake
here.
up.
yeah. Well, if it
You
is
should
protect,
try and get the last bit of your rest in. I'll be here thinking, and I'll look over my tomes.
I don't really think I'm back to sleep.
I'll get whatever sleep I can. And
It-
I'll have to prepare in case we have to encounter something mentally.
Post.
Yeah. Yes. I'll do my best to keep you safe. If that ever happens to be a problem.
I don't know. It felt, I don't know, maybe even if it was because of Rune why you didn't see, maybe it's also the being. Maybe it's not that. I guess we'll ask. I imagine that if anyone else had seen it, they would have already came running here.
I imagine they would have.
So maybe it's just that the being that I saw was just, I was just like the one person who it couldn't protect or something. It wanted a man. I wanna just, I hope that it's not implying that it wanted either you or Delson, but
Could be.
If it's related
could be
to
either of them. Could be, for all we know, could be any of us. It could. All of these things could somehow be connected, and the man could be Trothnar, for all we know.
I suppose.
Though that would be incredibly. It would be a very large coincidence.
I guess it would depend on like.
Given our adventures so far, I wouldn't put it past fate to throw that onto us.
I guess it depends on what context of why it wants that man. Maybe based on the fact that it happened in response to, or well, I guess in response to Delson's dream walking or dream.
I do think it is related to that.
Yeah.
I do think that.
So maybe it wants the man in the dream.
Hopefully. Whatever this was, we've gotten their attention and perhaps can glean more information if we're contacted again. I just hope that we're prepared and none of us have to be harmed in our dreams. That would be not good.
Well,
hopefully
maybe
I
I'll
can
ask.
do something about that.
I guess when everyone wakes up, maybe I'll ask Nemesis and Norian about the angelic figure. We don't seem to have anything about the
Let's
being.
Think on it for the next little bit, and when everybody wakes up, we'll talk about it.
For now, yeah, I think I'll look in, I guess, books about angels, I guess, for now. We'll look around the library.
Yeah, so I think we just take our... I don't know at what point in the long rest, and so we'll finish it, if that's possible.
Yeah, so
if this ruined anybody's sleep.
You still would have gotten a long rest.
Okay.
Like, that was easy enough. But a few hours pass, and everyone eventually wakes up and gets, goes to the dining room for breakfast. Norium looks tired.
Could me and Valith do the research for a book about
yeah,
I'll go look for books after we tell everyone.
Yeah, I think that's a better idea.
I was gonna do it while we were waiting for everyone to wake up, so that's why.
Okay.
Well, I think we're still technically, you guys are still, and me included, are still technically resting.
Yeah.
We can't do research because that would be considered not light activity because you're kind of getting involved with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I think the phrasing on
have to go to the mines, anyways.
I think the phrasing on how the long resting got me confused.
We don't really have time to do that because we want to go and do the mine stuff, and we don't want to waste a bunch of time. And then in a week, Nemesis' mom shows up and executes us all.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd
Okay.
be good.
But yeah, so you all arrive at the dining hall. You all rested well enough. As I said, Norian looks a bit tired, probably because he was up late, scribing in the book.
I just love to imagine the confused look of him waking up with a blanket. Who did this?
He didn't react with surprise. He didn't react with surprise. You get the feeling that this is something common for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty. I think that we just for the sake of not going through everything in explicit detail in a very long drawn out thing we've already heard.
Will be the one that explains happened.
And that's basically the conversation that we just had, so feel free to pretend like you heard all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you all think?
That's not something I'm very aware of. Angelic figure, a person in the darkness of a dream? I mean, are you sure it wasn't just her imagining it?
I am
Oh,
very sure,
Yeah.
especially considering that it took a lot of effort to even make something as small as a flower appear.
Yeah. It's the fact that it happened all in the same night, and I felt like almost nearly assaulted when I woke up. I doubt any of you will know the two figures, but what about the angel, the angelic one? Any idea at least who it could be? Like what deity it could be related to? I don't know.
Considering your vague description of a golden angel man thing, no. As far as I know, as far as I've seen, they're all gold.
Hell, I mean, you could have been sleepwalking and bumped into Nemesis.
I don't
The
know.
only thing that would be different than that would be Bahamut. But that
Oh.
would be obvious.
And do we
Yes,
really
I think it'd be
that,
obvious to see a
yeah.
platinum dragon flying around.
Do we really think the gods are toying around in our dreams? I don't know if
Nemesis
That's
just
exactly
kind of
their s-
looks at the
Yeah.
lad. Like,
Well.
of all people. Both of them, like.
Did any of you feel weird waking up?
I mean, yeah. You know where you saw me.
I
Oh, that quite well.
have strange occurrences all the time. I don't think I would have noticed something like that.
So it would be a not so strange occurrence.
Strangely not strange. Or not strangely strange, I guess what that means.
Remarkability and unremarkability, yeah.
Do you know what this creature looked like? Could you see any of it?
Figure. Other than the, like, being surrounded by tendrils, its head, it was big, and its head was, like, as big as me. It was just like it was like just cloaked in, like, shadow, I guess.
Was the face, as in the face itself, was completely cloaked in shadows with no features.
Well, we're all very, or at least some of us are pretty entangled in
I mean, yours could have been a nightmare. Who knows?
deities, monsters. True.
I highly doubt that nightmare creatures would mention that they've spoken to a family member.
No, not yours, not yours. Yours was the
Yeah,
effect of the
mine.
spell. I'm talking about Alicia's.
Yours, on the other hand, sounds like your sister's possessed or something.
Or something
Definitely.
else. Well, at the very
Something
least,
else.
it's not the answer you properly wanted, but at least you have one big answer. Your sister's definitely alive. So we can at least take that as a good thing.
The next thing after these mines is I'm probably going to have to start looking into beings that can affect dreams.
Sure,
Not
there's
that
a lot
weird.
of those.
Yeah, not that we aren't already doing that anyways. Right, Bev?
You might also want to... Unfortunately, our resident mage is out on business at the moment. But what you could do is, if you find a mage powerful enough, you could always ask them about the dream spell. They've obviously would have worked with it, so they might have an idea of the particulars about it.
Yes.
Indeed.
we can maybe try and
Well, I know I
Sixit
have a feeling we would have to contact Zixit or
or Company.
Company.
Well,
Well-
they are two of the greatest minds of Johan, but there are others.
Fucking Norium, just like, they're amazing.
He's never met them.
I mean,
He's heard of
it's just
them.
two of them we know off the top of our head.
Yeah,
We don't know any others.
Yeah, he's heard of them, so he's just kind of like, this is fine.
yeah, this will be
It's
fine.
like,
Yep.
it's like talking to a physics and saying, so hey, who's this Stephen Hawking guy?
Yeah, like,
I don't know what you're on about.
Well, I guess I could ask this. I think we will, if we're done here, I think we're gonna go to Under. Do you know of anyone in there?
We don't. At least I haven't done many dealings with the dwarfs.
Tom,
Yes?
do I remember if there was like a main tower or like a known sort of stuff like that in Underoak from back in my day?
You do know that because Underrook was involved in Artificer stuff, they were more Artificers than Mage, but they
Yeah.
tend to intertwine. You don't... Because you aren't much of a mage yourself, you don't know any individuals, but you do know that Underrook has at least a bit of an arcane side to things. They need to in order to work some of the machines.
Lovely, jubbly. Okay.
I guess we can just see when we get there.
Yeah.
I've got about
We got
halfway
people
through
that
transcribing the book.
alright. Don't kill yourself trying to do it. You look a mess.
I look
Yes.
no different than I normally do.
Just
Can-
have a nice cup
Can
of
someone
coffee.
get? Yes. Can someone get this man coffee?
Zeto's already done that.
Norium loves his
Oh
coffee.
wow. Wow, this is him afterwards. We need to get him some stronger coffee.
Uh,
I remembered why.
Don't bother, it won't work.
it really won't.
Damn.
Yeah, Norim's definitely one of those people that just is super addicted to coffee.
Yeah, like popped
Got
up
some
with his
of it.
normal.
I know.
Yeah.
Yep, coffee downs. Coffee downs. Well, we might be something by now.
Alright, we will be heading out then. Is there anything that you need? Like, she acts like she's like going to the store or something.
Yeah.
She's just like, do you want me to bring you something?
Yeah. I'm gonna go past
Yep.
Wendy's. Do you want anything?
Go to the corner store. You need anything?
I
Yeah.
just
Bring back a stalactite.
I just need you all to be safe. That's all.
If you go past Wendy's, can you get me a Baconator?
I don't know what that is, but that's fine.
I'm sure it's got bacon on it.
I'm sure.
Alright.
Do you nobles eat
Kind
bacon?
Of course we do.
We better say,
Like,
we better say,
doesn't, like, gorge yourself on meat.
Yeah,
Tom.
it's like
people not eat bacon.
yeah, it's like, do they eat bacon? Motions to the plate of bacon.
Yeah.
No, we
My lord.
don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Strictly vegetarian.
You're confusing rich people for Muslims again. What's wrong?
Yeah, I guess so.
Alright.
Alright, so you suit up and you begin to make your way out.
Oh no! Before I leave,
Yes.
can I walk straight up to Norian, just look him dead in the eye, and just go, "Where is it?"
He reaches into one of his pockets and just lifts up the book. And
Where's
puts
the
it
other
back in.
copy?
It's locked in the library.
Hrafnar.
I start to hand Nemesis the gun.
And I look back at Nemesis, and then I look back at Norium, do a very forced smile, and just go, "Q," and then leave. So I've got one priceless ledger. Got it.
Alright.
You think of a nice circumstance to use my wand of scowls.
So
I think Norimor already has a scowl.
He
And Drosser.
he's got a very thin smile at the moment. Like he's
Very thin smile.
forcing a smile at the moment.
Nem kind of just gives him a kiss on the cheek and just kind of whispers, "I'm angry."
All right. So, you guys leave the Fallow Manor. You do ask for your cart and everything, but Vincent just basically says, yeah, about that. It's still fucked.
Do we even want to take the cart with us? I mean,
I
If we're
suppose we don't have to. How long would it be on foot, though?
It would be roughly the same amount because you have to go a bit slower because the horses are carrying so much. Like, it's not like the horses can go at a gallop while you've got 6+ people in the back.
our the route we're taking is like the short way that's like through wilderness, right? As opposed to like the half a day trip.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it would only be about 3-4 hours still. It's like, but
having the cart would probably be a detriment here, anyways.
Can you cast haste on a horse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Wait,
You can cast haste on like a mosquito or something, and then just watch it die really fast.
it goes so quick it accidentally splats itself in the wall.
Yeah.
yeah, the haste just says a creature.
Yeah.
It's willing.
Cool.
Could
So
be
we could
anything.
like haste all our horses and then immediately.
That would be intense.
We can
Have a
only
bunch of
haste
sorcerers
one.
on horses. that
One
go
at a
really
time,
fast.
unless it's at a higher level. But do you really want to waste
bunch
this?
of sorcerers.
Whoops, I didn't mean to click. I meant to.
Have we got?
I think anyway.
whatever it's called,
Oh no,
uh,
it's not
net
even at a
magic,
higher
right?
level thing. It's just one person, but it's concentration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go on foot. That's fine.
Stay safe.
I mean,
How
unless
far-
you do want to bring.
Hey,
Bring it
cat,
with you.
get out of there. Get out of my drawers.
I'll be fine.
What a cat in your underwear?
Okay.
All right.
No, they're getting into my dresser drawers.
Mm.
Okay. So you make your way rather quickly out of Ulmandau. Nemesis, you know the exact area that Norian was referring to, so you're able to quickly lead him around the edge of the city, into the area where you can see, Ulmandau's got some forest around it, but it's clear it's been deliberately cut down. And you just begin to walk. So, who is at the front? Because they need to make a perception check.
Nem
Yes, it is.
knows where it is, doesn't she?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Big
I'm more
girl.
familiar, so.
I'll be behind it though.
Make a perception check then, Nem.
Do-do-do-do-do.
17.
Ooh,
Okay.
Nice. You put shadow contact lenses in.
As you know, as I said, it's only about 3 or 4 hours, but as you keep an eye out, you see a lot of wildlife, like squirrels and a few deer here and there, but for the most part, you don't appear to have anybody that looks. There's nothing suspicious. There's no one around. It's just a casual walk more than anything.
Right.
But eventually the trees begin to thin. And as they do, the ground becomes rocky. It begins to dip down more and more until eventually you go over a little particular bump, and then you can see a large cave entrance, partially at a 45-degree angle to the ground. It's incredibly wide, 4 or 5 people aside can walk through it. You recognize this as the Ulmandau mine.
Alright, we don't know what's going to be in here, what creatures are in here, so just be careful. Please don't trip over anything.
We make no promises.
Should we ask Tropner what the state of the mine looks like?
Yeah. Holy shit. We're walking on rocks, people.
God.
So I think got that one, but that actually is legit. It's like,
Can I roll to see how sturdy the mine is?
Mate.
Dwarf fences?
Oh my god, you guys.
That's not a thing, is it? That's not a thing.
No, it isn't.
I can't just go. I'm 3'5" and I've got a beard. That mine is in a shite condition.
I mean, you can, when you're a bit further in, you can have a check and, a gander at it, but
Look at the beams.
I would say
Right, never mind.
you wouldn't be able to currently, no.
Yeah.
I know.
Nice. Good idea there.
He does not have enough dwarf proficiency.
No.
He's not, despite being a dwarf, he's not proficient in dwarf.
What?
Okay.
If you get stoned more.
Okay, so you make your way into the cave. So the first thing that you notice is it snakes out in all sorts of directions. Some go down, some go to the left and to the right. So we're going to try something here. We are going to have a skill challenge.
Oh boy.
Okay.
So how this works, for those that don't know,
Let's go.
is that you will use your various skills to try and traverse the mine to the deepest part. And should you fail, I roll to see what happens.
Yeah.
Thank
It's like
you,
when
Matthew
you're
Mercer.
trapped in, like a magical forest, and then you have to figure out how to get out.
Yep.
Fucking.
So,
Needless to say, all I'm going to say is thank you, Matthew Mercer, for that idea.
Okay.
So,
how much rope do we have?
Not enough.
No, probably not.
I don't know.
We got enough. We got enough for nooses if you want.
Oh my goodness.
so
Should
my-
we leave some sort of marker?
My rope is in the bag of holding. That's if we want to use rope for something.
So I need.
We have a ton of arrows, so we can use those as markers.
Yeah.
Sure,
Well,
yeah.
Copper as a marker. It's shiny.
So, how this works is basically one of you decides to roll on a skill that might help you traverse this. Unfortunately, you only have yourselves to help on that. So, who's going to
Ominous
make...
sneeze.
Yep, it is... You need 4 successes to reach the bottom.
Okay.
So, who is going to make the first roll, and what skill are you going to use?
I'll go first. I volunteer as tribute, and I will use acrobatics.
How
Yes,
does that relate to getting to the bottom of the...
Yeah, like-
The skills have to relate to getting to the bottom of the mine, traversing the maze-like tunnels. So I don't think acrobatics is gonna work on that.
I will intimidate the darkness.
Rocklar.
With-
Cut,
with
cut a
survival
path,
helps
cut a
that.
path to the mine.
So Raya's already asked if she can roll survival, so Raya's agreed to take the first roll.
Yeah, do it.
So
Raya.
go ahead,
We
Raya.
believe in you. Hell yeah.
I don't know
24.
how to get to this mine, but I did a sick backflip.
Alright. So, as you're discussing how to proceed, Raya kind of walks forward, sort of goes down near the ground and just observes. And because that's such a fucking high roll, Raya, you notice various tracks. Creature tracks, mostly. You don't see any, like, footprints. But you kind of, like, keep an eye out, and you see where the highest concentration of these footsteps, of these tracks are. You begin to follow it. It takes you deeper and deeper. It keeps branching out here and there, but thankfully the tracks are prominent enough that you're able to follow them, until eventually they begin to fade out. You are now quite deep into the mine. Who's making the second roll? Just to advise as well, you can do the same roll, but the DC gets higher.
Oh, sugar. He wants to bite the bullet.
I'm just trying to think of a way that I could actually be useful in this
There's
situation.
quite a few of us
The
that
way
are.
that I see it, we can do like perception, investigation, and nature would be
I
best.
was about to say, can I do investigation to look for look deep for safe passages?
Okay, make
and
an investigation check.
stable ground?
Greatest detective go.
14.
Respectable.
Okay,
It is.
so you begin to follow one of the paths that goes upwards slightly. And initially you think you're going the wrong way, but it then dips downwards more. But as it does, you begin to smell something putrid. Decay.
Oh no.
Ooh.
You see a large boulder in front of you. You kind of like squeeze past it, and as you do, you see yourself face to face with a large armored creature. You back up against the boulder for a second until you realize it's not moving. And you look over, and you recognize this creature is a bullet.
Yeah.
But you look over to the side, and only its head's remaining. The rest of it's just decaying. As you kind of like go around the side, you can see maggots and creatures writhing within it. This thing has been dead for a while.
Ooh.
Who did
Yeah,
Kyle pick
yeah,
up?
that's disturbing.
That is one failure.
Why
That
is it
is-
always dead bodies?
Ooh.
Could I?
I
Just
can't believe that was a fail.
Yeah.
Could I
High
use
DCs.
my
Yeah.
Mhm.
herbalism kit to like try and find the stuff that grows in the that
What,
grows
find
in the cave?
moss that grows in the direction of the sun?
Yeah.
Like, is
I don't
that
know.
what we're
No.
doing?
That's about the only thing I can think I can do.
Yeah.
Make a nature
Did
check.
the guy speak glowing cave mushroom?
Past that, I don't think I got any other skills.
Yeah, make a nature check.
Can I try and use proficiency for it?
I'll allow it, since if you use the herbalism kit.
Could I? We already rolled.
No, you have to do the roll yourself.
So Officer J's.
I was just wondering if I could help, but I
That's
understand.
another fail.
Okay. Thankfully, there is no limit on fails. There is
No what?
there is no limit on fails.
Oh,
Okay.
Like you can fail a million times and it will keep going.
It's not death saves, pretty
No,
much.
it's not death save. You just need 4 successes, and you've already got 1. Okay, so you begin to follow the various fungi and vegetation that grows. Now, you know a lot of it does go towards the sun, but you do know there's some that actually work best in the night. And it's just kind of like feeling your way across and just looking. You feel a slight shake. I need... What's a marching order first?
well, I would be in front.
Yep.
I guess I'd be by her since I'm, tanky.
Yep.
I'm behind them.
Yep.
I'll be behind Trothnar.
I'll be behind Valov.
The rest of us are
Rise
separated,
the
it
fight.
seems.
I'll be outside the cave, wondering where everyone went.
Yeah, we can see you, Gratian.
Can't see a die.
Yeah, we can see you.
Okay, and then Delson, Gratian, and Ryan. Okay, if that's the case, I need Trofnar, Alicia, and Nemesis to make a dexterity saving throw.
Yay!
Oh, fuck me.
I...
Yeah, I
Whoa,
figured.
Let's go, just go dancing. Okay.
Not very dexterous.
Yay! That's a dexterous dwarf.
Okay, so Trofnar will be the only one that takes half damage from this.
Good boy.
Ooh, these are tough traps. Tick is like
Oh god,
Ramp
if Nem
things
dies
up for
in
us.
his
Yeah,
blind,
Welcome
and
to
we
a
have go
true
back to
dungeon.
Norium.
yeah, it's great. I love this.
Okay, let me...
But you know what, Peach? At least we would have the backup character right there, ready to join.
Oh my god.
North-
So...
I
Okay, that was bad
swords
rolls.
with horse.
As you just, Alicia, as you're just kind of like examining some of the vegetation, you realize that this particular, it's like an ivy almost, and you realize that it tends to burrow in. And as you kind of like look up, you watch as part of the ceiling sort of caves in on you, So Nemesis and Alicia, you both take 8 points of bludgeoning damage. Trofnar, you take 4, as you're able to just like get out of the way.
That's not bad. I was hoping.
What's
Oh,
81
okay,
minus 4?
that's not too bad.
Yeah, hoping. I was thinking it might be really bad and I might die.
No, thankfully, like,
Rocks fall, everyone dies.
yeah.
I'm dwarf. Rocks
squishy.
can't hurt me.
I am squishy.
Okay, but yeah, no. So like, it's not a full cave collapse. You're able to still keep traversing. It's just that like you get pummeled by a bunch of heavy, like solid rocks.
Okay. Can I go next?
Okay,
Excuse
that
Herbalist.
will move you to the front and everyone back one. So it's now you, Alicia, Nemesis, unless you choose
Let me
otherwise.
take over.
These are dwarf senses.
Yeah. I'm going to use investigation,
Yes.
and I'm going to try to investigate. I'm going to try to see on the walls if there's any like dwarven markings or like signs, like this way to this bottom of the mine or anything like that.
Okay, make it an investigation check.
I would love to. 3, 2, 1, investigate. Yay!
Wow, nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you don't find
knows
markings,
his way around
unfortunately.
rocks.
However, you don't find like dwarven markings, but what you are able to do is, because as a dwarf you lived in Underrock, which had a very active mining bit, and even though like theirs is neat and the Johani one's is rather messy, you're able to roughly know where to like the proper pathways to go. Like there's usually like where the supports are, but in addition, you are able to like keep an eye on the walls and see if there's any which seem unstable. As you go past, you do see a few new holes that appear to have been almost burrowed into. Almost like there's creatures that are going around and burrowing into things. So that's 2 successes.
This mine is absolute amateur hour with a day of it.
So that is 2 successes. So,
Yay!
who's next? And if there's a skill that you want to try and use, then by all means ask, and I'll see if it could be used.
I would like to try
like
and
mine.
use athletics to be to basically like if there's like a cave in like that or like helping people through tough places and whatnot, and
Yeah, like getting through the rough terrain.
yeah, just
Yeah.
helping people in that way. And
So,
Anna's been asking
yeah,
me to give.
I didn't see that. Okay, so with the stealth, you can make a stealth check if you like. It wouldn't really help for the skill challenge, but it would mean that if anything bad happens, they're less likely to spot you.
nice.
With the athletics,
ask your
if you make you can make an athletics check, and if you succeed, I'll say you'll be able to like automatically let someone succeed if something like that happens again. Because the whole athletics bit wouldn't help in terms of getting you down to the mine, but you could use it to help someone else.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Athletics plus perception equals
Lance right,
echolocation.
fuck you, right? Fucking monk. Rough terrain doesn't exist. Just bends to my will.
Can I roll deception to trick a rock?
Oh my god,
Alright.
okay.
Seriously. Okay, so who's going next?
Um,
And it doesn't have to be like a skill, it can be an ability check as well.
I was gonna ask if I could use something like locate object.
Right. Locate object that has... What's the range on that?
1,000 feet.
Okay. And what would you be using it for?
I would be trying to locate maybe, like, you know how sometimes miners leave, like, a pickaxe or, like, a lamp or something
Okay, so like
behind?
tools, yeah.
Yeah, so I would be looking for tools in, like, the depth.
I would say make an Arcana check.
Okay.
Because as you kind of let the spell go, you do feel a lot of them, but they're all over the place, so you have to kind of, like, guess.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Alright.
So, using the spell, you keep heading down the pathways. You focus on where there's like a higher concentration of them. After about an hour, though, you start running into dead end after dead end after dead end. You have to backtrack a few times. By the time the spell has ended, you've made some progress, but not a lot. Unfortunately, that's another fail. Thankfully,
Did we find anything special?
nope. You just got
No.
lost. That is
Just
literally,
got lost.
That's literally what I've got on here for like, if it's between this range, just get lost.
Yep.
Not
alright.
even a shiny pebble.
I don't know. Nothing looks caved in like there used to be a path here.
I mean, some bits appear to be, appear to have been caved in, but it's a case of, like, with Nemesis' spell, she doesn't really sense much beyond there. So go ahead and mark off that you used your locate object spell,
Yep.
Nemesis.
Nemesis,
I did.
Nemesis
Alright.
senses nothing but bullshit.
You're on 2 successes so far. So who's next?
Maybe.
It could be the
we
same
can
person,
just-
by the way.
Yeah, maybe we can roll performance and trick ourselves into thinking that we know where we're going.
I mean,
You can inspire people, I think, right?
I
Delphic
can inspire them. Yes.
Yeah,
Who's
that's
going
true.
to roll the next
Can
check?
you roll, like, dex? What are you intending to do with the dex roll?
Like,
in
Thank
case
you.
there's stairs.
Speedrun the cave. So you are going to just
Uh,
pick a direction and go for it.
Try to like maneuver through the tunnels and everything. Is that what she said?
No, I think
I think
she's just gonna
Right,
pick a
nice
random
hanging out.
direction.
Oh my god! And hope she gets lucky.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Roll.
Okay.
Roll
I'll
it.
inspire.
I'll let it
Oh.
happen if you want.
I'll give her inspiration.
Okay.
It's
Make
like-
a dex check, Raya.
is this like you just like
Or an
okay, I'm
athletics
going ahead, and boom, just boat off ahead of us?
No.
Straight up never seeing her again. Yep.
You can roll an extra thing
Oh
for
my
that,
God.
but I don't know if
Extra
inspiration
D8.
will
I
help
don't
you.
think it can. Yeah, I don't think it can. It would be an
Other
extra
person?
D8.
The 8. Well, if it's an 8,
I
then
mean, it means that we don't just lose Raya completely.
Thankfully, Raya has enough sense to save or check. I say I could be a dex save or an athletics check, but you've done dex, so okay. So I rolled the same thing I rolled last time. So after about half an hour, you just get lost. You're all together still,
I can't
but it's
believe
like
Raya's fucking...
I don't-
you're all together. Raya had enough sense to have it so you guys keep up.
Okay.
you know. I just wanted to imagine
Nem-
she pulls ahead, I'm going ahead, pulls ahead, and then like we don't see her for like half an hour. It's like
Nem looks at Floriana and kind of points to her. You, little you.
yes, what did I
Don't
miss?
you have some sort of spell that can make you see places?
I have the scrying orb, but I can only use it for places I've seen before. I've never seen where we're going.
There's no chance that it could just be an idea of a place?
Let me look into it and known or visited.
I mean, it's a
guess-
mine. Don't all mines look alike? It's just
Not
rocks.
true.
I mean,
Oh,
I
no.
I don't need to use it again
Valid.
today. So,
So-
like,
Dallas is
Is-
fucking gone.
Yeah, I'm just. I gotta go deal with my move out stuff. Everybody's freaking out, so I have to go deal with that.
Okay.
okay,
You
It shouldn't
guys
be too long.
don't die, please.
I'm sure we won't die.
Use no
Use my
promises.
abilities to the best of my ability. Anyways, I'll
I
talk to
don't
you guys
know
later.
how. I
Alright.
don't know your abilities though.
Okay.
I'll leave that up to Tom.
Yep.
talk to you guys later. Have fun.
Okay, see you later. Unless Tom wants me to be able to roll an Arcana check to try this idea of
You can
scrying orb.
try an Arcana check if you like. I'll allow it. 24.
Watch, we're gonna get out of this mine and it's gonna be like 3 days later.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
Focus.
Yay, another success.
So you decide to take a risk with the scrying orb. You know what it's capable of, but you think with a little bit of tinkering, you could potentially, maybe, at least temporary, make it do a bit more. So you spend about the next half an hour just focusing, trying to work the arcane energy. And then for a brief second, you get like that quick eureka moment. You look into the scrying orb, and you just imagine further into the mine. You feel it like with the scrying orb normally, it pulls you away, but this time it's pulling quickly through the mine. It's going so quickly you can't fully track it, but you are able to memorize enough of it that gets you even deeper into the mine. That's 3 successes.
Hey.
As the energy of the scrying orb goes away, you kind of like check it. It still works, thankfully, but it's probably not a good idea to try and push it like that again.
Now that we are kind of more than halfway in, it seems,
Living on a
can
prayer.
I make a wisdom save just based on common sense to see where my sense of direction takes me?
You're using intuition. Got it.
I know you're
Make a wisdom saving throw.
I know, I have a horrible sense of direction too.
I wanted a massive argument with her about what kind of street
16. Okay. So, you are very out of your element at the moment, but you kind of just begin to just go with your gut instinct. Keep walking down the path that goes deeper and deeper. Less pathways begin appearing on either side, and it begins to go into this straight one. And then the terrain changes slightly. It's still solid rock, but... And Trofnar, you notice this as well, like, being a dwarf and knowing your stonework and everything. The bits that you're going through are much fresher. Whereas most of it has, like, been caked with dust and aged and such. These are only... They're still rather old, maybe about 20 or 30 years old, but they just... These new scrapings sort of appear. You can see various pickaxes and old lanterns and such, but they're still much newer than the ones that you just seen.
Because you said it earlier, like, dwarves are way more, like, good at mining and...
This is more dwarven
Jihani-
style.
What?
This is more dwarven style.
Yeah, that's
This
what I was
new
going to
bit.
ask. I was going to ask if it looks more like a Jihani
Yeah.
mine or
It's
a dwarven
much-
mine. What is dwarven word for mine while we're here?
What is the difference between Jurhanian and Dwarven architect?
So have you ever played Minecraft and you've just followed the veins and just running through vein.
That's Jihanian.
That's Jihanian. And dwarves is
You can
the
sculpture penises.
and
Onions are dwarves.
and the dwarven version is like strip mining in Minecraft, you know, like just perfectly angular lines, like, you know, one going straight up, one going straight across kind of deal.
You know exactly how far down each and every block will be. You know exactly when to stop for diamonds compared to the amount of lava that you will find. You know which direction.
And they know like when to expand
So which
outwards.
one is literally blow stuff up with dynamite and hope for the best?
That would be the gnomes.
No, gnomes, yeah.
That would be the gnomes and some dwarfs that just get fed up of doing it the slow, methodical way.
I feel like halfling mining is you just walk around one day and trip over a massive diamond.
So since we're getting closer, can I roll the next one?
You've done the fourth. That's a fourth success. You've managed it, and you've avoided every combat encounter. Actually, look at buckets. I had combat. Okay, so you go through this tunnel, and it suddenly opens wide. This is a natural cavern that you're in. The thing that gets your attention first most is the bones. There are multitude of bones.
Do they rattle?
They do when you step on them.
Oh, for God's sakes, guys.
They are splintered in several areas. Most of them are bestial, but you notice looks to be a human skull. And another one. And another one. And then it comes to your attention that these are not human skulls, these are dwarf skulls. You see tattered scraps of armor. What fragments you can see, Trafnar, you recognize as the wardens. You see the emblem on a few of them. As you walk further into the center of this area, you hear a voice echo around you.
Tasty morsels. What are you all here for?
What kind of voice is it?
It, what do you mean, what kind of voice is it?
I don't know, like...
Are you asking if it
I
sounds
guess-
like the voice from your dreams?
No, just like...
What language is
I
it
guess like
speaking?
a-
I think.
It's not,
Yeah.
Like,
Is it-
would it be like, does it sound like Conicus? Does it sound like a crazy dwarf human? I don't know.
It is louder than a dwarf. That much you can
I
tell.
figured. It's a
Can I
draconic, how's
cast
that?
my divine sense?
Sure, you cast Divine
Or maybe
Sense.
undead.
Also, quick thing,
Or
I
undead.
do love that the
Alright,
music.
do I
kind of
sense
sounds-
any celestials, fiends, or undeads?
Doesn't pick up any of them.
No?
Nope.
Alright, well that means that the bodies aren't like coming to life or anything, so that's
You
good.
kind of
Wait a minute, guys. We know what this is.
A
A
revenant?
The
revenant!
old man that used to know the 8 dwarves.
So,
Anyway,
So you're
alright.
saying
You hear
become
above.
a revenant.
Alright,
you-
guys.
You hear above you, like the sound of rocks sort of scraping. You look up, and you can see sort of almost hanging like a bat. You see a long, almost reptilian-like creature. It has little sort of like spikes emanating around it. As it sort of like leans backwards, you watch as these... They almost look like wings, but there's no webbing, sort of like stretch outwards. And as its mouth opens, you see drool just begin to drip down as it licks his lips.
What the fuck are you?
Who I am is not important. What is that I see morsels. It's been so long since I've been able to feast as much as that.
I will point my gun at him. Don't even think about it.
Do I have any idea
You
what it
do.
is?
Make an
You
intelligence
will
check.
become like these bones around us.
yeah, I'll try one.
Intelligence. Fuck.
You have no idea what this is.
So I'll
Dad?
try one.
I just
don't-
realized there's like a heartbeat in the background.
Okay, I know nothing either.
I want to try to intimidate it still.
Okay. So, make an intimidation check. With disadvantage.
Yay.
I mean, it doesn't care about the tiny little half-elf with a gun, with a thing it doesn't know what it is.
So,
The one thing you do notice, it appears to not have any eyes.
It's like some weird bat creature.
That's
Lizard bat
13.
thing.
I'll concur, it is probably not the dragon.
You watch as
I
it
mean-
kind of...
Damn it.
You see it sort of like press itself a bit more against the pillow it's on. You see its tail begin to like almost wag slowly.
You misunderstand the situation.
And that's where we're going to call it for this session.
Oh, fuck.
Sausage
When
guy.
we start, it's going to instantly be into combat.
Oh my god.
Aw.
God damn it.